And we're live. There you go.
We're live. Hello, live.
Yes. Widge sent over his regards. He is currently unavailable for video until such time, and audio until such time that he fixes his computer, which hopefully will be any second now. This is just me vamping.
Yep. Welcome to the Men with Hats program.
Men with what's on your hat? You can see what's on.
Yeah, mine is Lollapalooza 1982.
Yours is way cooler than mine is.
Sure.
I mean, mine is just a standard old Buccaneers hat.
It's fine.
And this has been Hat Talk with
Hat Talk.
Guys and Hats.
Guys in hats. Old white men in hats.
And I'm wearing. Is Florida Mayhem still a thing? Anybody know? Is the what is it? Overwatch League still a thing?
No, Overwatch League is, I think, currently dead.
Yeah, that's the last I heard.
Unless Microsoft wants to throw some money at it, and I don't think they do. I think actually
weird, right?
I think the teams were supposed to vote. Actually, the team owners were supposed to vote whether they were going to continue the league or not.
Let's see. Is there anything on the schedule?
Well, no, it's over because they've.
Yeah, postseason ended October 2nd.
Yeah.
Florida Mayhem. Actually, interested is how much I cared about. I'm wearing a Florida Mayhem. For those of you listening in the audio world, I'm wearing a Florida Mayhem jersey, but I only got it because it was $10, and I could customize it with my number and my you can see, I don't know if you can see it back there.
Continuing the visuals for our listeners. It says Unique Geek on the back.
Yeah, it says Unique Geek on the back. So
I was handling that while you were doing your Vanna thing.
Well, doing my modeling.
Yes.
It says my connection is unstable, much like me.
It's the molecules.
Yeah, because it's $10. So
okay.
That's the same reason why I had my other Florida Mayhem shirt. I've watched exactly 3 of their matches ever, in my life.
I remember Overwatch League being on Saturday afternoons on ABC for some reason.
They had an actual
they had a deal with ESPN and ABC.
Deal, yeah. And they were on for a while, and then they went. I think they just went to YouTube at some point.
Yeah, I think it was either YouTube or Twitch.
Twitch or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's too bad too because I played Overwatch 2 all of 10 minutes, did some target practice, and said, "Oh, this is pretty much Overwatch 1." Okay. But I did back in the day. Well, back in the day, meaning before the pandemic, I guess.
Before the pandemic,
maybe even during the pandemic, I played Overwatch fairly often. No expert at it, but
yeah, I think that was kind of the deal with Overwatch, though, because if you didn't get in like the ground floor,
mm-hmm.
you would just get smoked so quickly it would not even be worth it, or at least that was what I found in my experience. Unless I just did private games with people, it just didn't make any sense for me to try to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did. Yeah, because I spent most of the time running back to the point because I was just being eliminated by people so quickly.
And in a way, it's like with Forza, because the new Forza's out.
Yes.
And unless you get in on like the ground floor on that, because it's the motorsport game, because it's the actual. This is the game with rules.
Right.
That doesn't become like fun Mario Kart with expensive cars in like 2 weeks when everybody else drops in. So this is Gran Turismo. This is the boring one. So so it's like the first 2 weeks are fine when like nobody's playing, but in the Game Pass era when like everybody can pop in day one, that's kind of like yeah.
That was me. Although I just me and my buddy usually play on what do you call it, on Friday nights. So
Yeah. But to be clear, you
just
didn't
play enough to get into the game where I can actually go to
Yeah.
multiplayer.
But to be clear, you didn't pay extra. You waited for it to come out last week, like
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Although my buddy Duncan, he would have if he didn't have Game Pass, he would have paid the extra to do that. But because he has Game Pass,
yeah. I mean, it's weird though. The week of Dragon Con, both Kim and myself, I got Baldur's Gate on PS5 to get early access, quote early access, and Kim bought the Starfield Deluxe early so she could get quote early access to Starfield
to Glitch Central.
Yeah, she hasn't really run into that many. Again, it's one of those things because what was it? Cyberpunk. She got into we got Cyberpunk at launch. Terrible. We got Cyberpunk at launch, and she didn't have barely any issues with Cyberpunk. She's like that one person.
Wow. Yeah.
By the way, she did get Phantom Liberty.
What's that?
She did get Phantom Liberty though. She's been playing through that, and she's been enjoying the hell out of that.
Yeah. I hear someone typing. It sounds like it's Widge typing, but I'm not sure.
Hi.
It's JJ.
Okay, we can hear Widge.
Hi.
I was going to say I'm not typing. I'm here, but I'm not typing.
It's the ghost at number 4. Hi, sir.
I was going to say that I've actually been actively seeking out the glitches in Starfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just watch YouTube videos and go, oh, here's this glitch. Oh, okay, let me go try that. I have little to no interest in the actual story that's going on.
Well, it's like Skyrim. No one does.
Right, exactly.
It's like that's not the reason you played Skyrim. You played Skyrim so you could play enough to dragon shout people off cliffs, and that's about it. That's really why anyone was playing Skyrim, because you could just go behind people and just dragon shout them off a cliff, and that is hours and hours of entertainment.
I just do it to build the ships, really.
Yeah.
By the way, building the ships with a freaking controller is a pain in the ass. But
we've talked about how I play Spider-Man and Tears of the Kingdom. So really, I'm not really paying attention to the timer or the rules or what the game actually is wanting me to do. I just kind of get into the open world and screw around, and that's basically all I do with the game, and I'm completely satisfied with that.
Spider-Man games are nothing but a New York sightseeing simulator.
Exactly. In my Spider-Man, Aunt May's fine, Kingpin's in jail, New York's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, that's about where I am.
And I don't really go past that point.
I am this close to finishing Miles Morales, and I haven't gone back to it because I'm so close to finishing. Because I feel like now I need to, and if I do, that means I'm not going to buy Spider-Man 2 anytime soon, because it's the end of the year, and you don't buy stuff for yourself at the end of the year, and also it's a fucking AAA game, and who can afford that shit?
I've got at least an anniversary coming that I'm going to have to get a present for, so Spider-Man 2 is probably going to happen.
But so when that's cheaper, I will buy it. But that does mean that since I got the version of Miles Morales that came with the remastered Spider-Man, I'll probably go back. But the thing is, I know it won't have the chase assist.
Yeah.
And so I won't be as interested, because that is the one thing on Spider-Man games I absolutely can't do.
I believe. Well, I haven't gotten a list of the accessibility options into, but there's a hell of a lot of them that people I've been talking to have been telling me.
Yeah, I know that one's in there.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see the list.
So I won't have to just want to kill the dude that wants you to catch his damn pigeons.
Yeah. But go ahead, sir.
You know how I was talking about how I didn't what do you call it? Pay attention to the Florida Mayhem. Apparently they came in in either first or second. I can't quite tell this year. So yeah, I'm not a poser for wearing this. I'm a cheap poser because I bought it for $10 and didn't really give a crap about Overwatch League. Anyway,
It's okay.
moving on.
It's
You
okay.
are, by the way, John, you're kind of blowing out. Your mic might be a little bit loud.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You sound great now.
Oh, do I?
Yeah. Maybe it's because you're not speaking as loud.
Oh, what? That makes a difference? You mean this microphone will pick me up either way?
Yeah. It's funny.
Oh,
As
weird.
I wish people would learn that about their fucking phones. That's another thing entirely.
Are those people actually on the phone with it to their ear or talking into a speaker?
Both.
Or
Anyone
both.
who talks to their phone like this deserves to get shot.
Well, or you could just, walk by them and tap right into their chin.
Yeah. I one of these days, I will get into the cell phone business and I will design a cell phone that cuts off at a certain decibel level. Like if you cross that
Oh, that you
decibel
can't,
level,
you
then
can't. Yeah, if you cross that, oh, that's cool. That would actually be a great idea. Uh-oh.
No, everybody's gone. It's just us.
Was there comments or complaints?
I don't know.
Well, at least one of those happened, I'm sure. Okay, well, that's fun.
Yeah, I didn't even see any. I mean, Tuffley was just there and then gone.
Well, let's see. I have a spinner wheel here that I can spin for topics.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. What do we come up with? I guess I should show it on screen, but oh well. Your Halloween report. What's your Halloween report?
Oh man. Well,
what is Halloween like in your part of the woods? Portland.
It's pretty beloved. I mean, people like to decorate. One of the things that's big in our household right now is Elizabeth, for the last 4 years, has done something that they call Upon This Blasted Heath, which is a 1 hour long retelling of Macbeth. And it's done sort of guerrilla style. So they've done it in a parking lot. This year they're doing it in a park downtown. So just like at around 5 o'clock on Halloween day, rain or shine, they'll be doing Macbeth for free. And it usually gets, about 150, 200 people showing up. So it's always kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's
and it's always Macbeth? Or is it just...
It's been Macbeth the last 4 years, because Macbeth is it's the one with witches and ghosts, and it's probably
Fair
the
enough.
most Halloween-like, and it actually bears real well to a recap. Though they have it kind of situated in a way where Macbeth is actually dead, and the witches bring him back to life, and he has to relive this version of the hell that he caused, and then he dies, and then the next year he's revived and goes through the hell, and then killed. So it's kind of an interesting, kind of an interesting vibe. So that's
Cool.
that's the big thing around here. Me, I'll be working.
You have to you work at night or...
Well, actually, Halloween this year is a Tuesday, so I'll have it off.
Actually, yeah.
Shit! I don't know what to do I don't know what to do on a holiday. I never have holidays off.
Tuffley's back.
You survived.
Hey, power surge.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah,
wow.
that was what that was.
Are you
So-
guys having issues up there? Is that what's going on with Widge, maybe?
No, we're much further away than Wedge, so I don't know. We're not the same neighborhood, so. But yeah, sorry about that. Hi, live.
Kind of fun to be wearing a rolling blackouts shirt, knowing that you're having.
Yes,
issues.
rolling blackout.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That's funny.
It was the first thing I noticed when you came back.
Yeah. I was not planning on that.
What did we
Oh.
land on? I didn't see it spin.
Oh, I didn't
Oh, okay.
I didn't spin it yet.
You can spin it. It's fine.
There we go. I've just decided to put the topics on. Spinner wheel.
Okay, that's cool.
The other Usher house,
Not yet.
the one that's fallen.
When did
I-
Usher
anybody
fall
watch it?
over? I wasn't sure that. Isn't that going to affect the Super Bowl halftime show?
Well,
Not that Usher. Oh, sorry. Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna watch that today actually, but ended up watching the movie The Menu instead.
oh, how's that?
I think that movie is horribly misrepresented as to what it is. It's actually a very sharp black comedy. The trailer makes it look like it is going to be, could be possibly violent and all sorts of like themes that you think are going to pop up. And no, it's just a really smart, dark comedy. So if you like, we were kind of comparing it to a cross between Clue with elements of Midsummer.
yeah. I think that was
What?
the one that came out at the same time when Knives Out 2 came out in theaters, right?
I don't remember.
That was
I
around
know-
the same. That was around the same like Thanksgiving corridor of last year when that came out.
It came out at a time where I still wasn't going to the fucking
In the
theater. I know
theaters.
that.
Because I remember that. Because I remember people were talking about, well, a lot of people were like, well, if Knives Out 2 wasn't anywhere near this, people would probably be watching this more than that. But
Yeah.
I think that was the weekend that Knives Out 2 was in theaters, and you're gonna see the murder mystery.
I waited till it was on Netflix personally, and
Yeah.
I waited to see The Menu until today. So
Yeah.
Was the Menu on any of the platforms? Where'd you watch it?
I watched it on whatever HBO is calling itself right now.
Oh, okay, that's where I've seen it. Then yeah, it's on Max.
Hydromax. I don't know.
I
Supermax.
Despise the new platform.
Cinemax.
When they
See,
when
my
they
headcanon is
What?
my
What?
head,
What
my
is it?
sorry.
Oh, go on.
My headcanon is that it is really Cinemax.
I mean, it makes sense.
I know they hate that. Discovery fucking hates that. But that's my headcanon because I enjoy it so much that it's Cinemax.
Well, Discovery is what fucked everything up, so let
Yeah.
them hate it.
So yeah.
Well, I mean,
But-
what's the issue? What's your issue with it? I mean, as far as
Well, first of all, it's so like in my case, the reason I got the fucking thing to begin with is when I started getting I paid for like a year up front to save money, and so when I signed up for it, they were
yeah, I did
doing
the same thing.
so they were showing first run films and stuff. That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
that's how I watched Dune and all that. But I mean, so it means that I primarily got it as what I think of HBO as a movie viewing platform that will have
Yeah.
original programming. I mean, sure, we've people like The Sopranos and all of that, and we all swear that we're eventually going to watch The Wire, and then we never do.
I have.
I have not. But then once
Your Hotel Rwanda during The Wire?
I've seen Hotel Rwanda.
I have not seen Hotel Rwanda, ironically enough.
Exactly. It's the film everyone said they were going to go watch, and Kim's old joke about Netflix is that's the film you always had in your queue, and you'd keep sending it back for like the next one because something else was you wanted more.
I went and
Yeah,
saw it in the theater.
I can see that because I've every time I've thought about watching it, I always go, "Do I want to be depressed?" And then
I
eventually just say no.
I watched Last King of Scotland at the theater as well.
Oh
No.
wow!
But
Yeah, so HBO.
but yeah, so once they added all the
Max.
Discovery stuff in, you can't find any of the HBO stuff, and so you turn it on and it's all my 90-day 300,000-pound wife eats a shark.
F Boy Island.
Yeah, it's all that shit, and so
So,
It-
question for you: at what point did you start the service?
when they first started showing, so I've had it for about 2 years. When they first started showing first run stuff or shit, has it been 2 years or has it been a little longer? When
Might be.
when the theaters were closed and they pissed everybody off by showing first
Okay.
run stuff. That's when I got it, because I was like, okay, well, at the time, if I remember correctly, that's when I was that's when my neck was all fucked up and I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at least I can get stoned and watch Dune, which is
Yeah.
the only way to
Allegedly.
watch. I live
Really?
where it's legal. It's
Really?
illegal for me to do it when I'm on job, but I was on sick leave for a year, so by the time I
And
came
you
back,
can't
there
watch
you go.
it.
I mean,
Ah.
no, I am
But,
I have the cleanest system. Well, all of us that work in transit have the cleanest systems in all of Oregon. We get
But
tested.
we had it pretty early because we have AT&T internet and they just included it with the subscription. And I'm one of those idiots that's logging into Max just so I get to keep that. Because AT&T went, okay, if you don't log in for like a month and a half, we're going to take that away from you. So
I mean, I'd get that just by watching Last Week Tonight.
yeah. But yeah, and I've never been able to find anything on Max even before they changed it, and the app is just really bad. So
I've only used the TV app. I have a
Yeah.
Samsung, and so I've only ever used the native TV app. And now, like you used to be able, like for movies, every time every new month would come up, you'd be able to go into the movie section and then check just added. You get to see everything that just was
Yeah.
added that month, and you can't do any of that anymore.
yeah, they said they supposedly improved the navigation, but they just didn't.
They haven't. I will not be. I can't see me renew it. The only way I can possibly see me renewing it is Warner Brothers has tentatively said that they might start adding AEW wrestling content to them, and they'd have to add a lot to make it worth my while to stick around.
Yeah, that kind of depends if Peacock keeps WWE or not. So
Yeah.
because they either, what was it? It was either Max or ESPN that are still trying to go after WWE rights. So
I mean, it makes
Who knows?
sense because then if ESPN gets to, well, actually Disney's thinking about selling off ESPN, so never mind.
yes, there's all of
You
that.
think about selling off almost everything.
I shouldn't have laughed at that. Sorry, it made a great sound.
Nah, fine.
Rob's here.
Hey, kids.
Rob,
Hey, Rob.
hey, kids. How's it going?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just sent a text to Widge,
Yes.
see if he's still
Yes.
alive.
Yeah. How you
I
doing?
haven't heard
Tucker?
anything back.
A little draggy, honestly. If I'm honest, I took some medication to be with you tonight, so yay. But
We should mention legal medication.
Yes, it's Dayquil.
Yes.
Dayquil, audience. Dayquil.
And he was not. Mr. Tuffley has not been endorsed and compensated by the Dayquil Corporation in any way, shape, or form.
No, Vix has not given me money yet, but Vix, I'm open to negotiation. You
Are they
have
owned
an
by Vix?
hour. Yeah, you have an hour, Vix.
What, Vix?
Vix.
Fun. So what's going on, kids? Anything fun?
COVID. COVID is not fun. We'll go down
I'm
the list.
sorry.
COVID is not fun.
Had it last year, did not enjoy it.
Yeah. So Kim is getting over it now. I tested positive and I've been isolating since last Wednesday. So I'm out of isolation now. I got to go back to work. Yay. Yeah, I got to go back to work.
The
But
consolation prize for being miserable for 5 days is work.
going back to work, missing Depeche Mode, and then having to go back to work.
Well, if it helps you any, the sound was apparently atrocious.
I've heard different stories about that.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your ear tolerance is for bass.
or how
Yeah.
much you like Depeche Mode.
Now.
I'm not insulting Depeche Mode there. I don't
No.
have enough. I don't have enough knowledge.
Well, there's
of
only
Depeche
two of
Mode.
them left, so it's war of attrition. So
Wow.
I had never actually thought of Depeche Mode as a band as much as just a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's an amorphous blob that is now just two people. So.
I mean, if my life
It's-
depended on naming 3 Depeche Mode songs, I would be in serious trouble.
It is also like how do I put this? This is the one that you want to be the fly on the wall for, because this is awkward, because the only two left are the two band members that have had a history of not getting along.
Yes.
And Fletch, who died, was the guy that was kind of like the go-between, or the
Yep.
guy that sort of kept it all together.
Yeah, because
So.
so the main, if I understand now, you may have a different like view of this, but the main conflict was that or that I understood it was that Martin
Yeah.
writes all the songs and Dave
I think
wanted to
so.
start writing, and Martin doesn't want Dave to write, so Martin doesn't like Dave's song ideas, so
Well, I mean, I get it. Gahan's trying to grow as an artist, and they've had this way of working all along the same way. So how do you find a way to make that work?
yeah. Although going to what we were kind of talking about kind of off show, but like them touring, like Fletch was the one who didn't want to tour. So that was I like, why are they doing so many dates? Because the person who didn't want to tour is no longer with them.
Or it could be it.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all very, very
I mean,
weird.
like they're gonna like the solo records are gonna get any traction whatsoever.
Well,
Like
the
the
Gore
solo
stuff,
stuff is ever gonna yeah.
at this point, I don't think their solo records sell any more than their album. I mean, their album, I think, sold really well the first 2 weeks, and it just kind of,
Well, yeah, but everybody does that. Or Swift or Adele or Drake. You sell really good the first 2 weeks and then it's done.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, that's really what the prevailing rule is now. Unless you are in fact Taylor Swift, Drake, or Adele, you're not selling records after the second week.
yeah.
It's not going to happen. And I
That's
don't
a
know
fun-
why. I don't know why it's just those three, but it is really just those three.
What about Beyonce?
No, because what was it? Renaissance dropped off too.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know why, but I know the sales on that dropped off pretty fairly swiftly after it after Renaissance came out. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting how all that works. And then this, I don't know if you guys saw this stuff, but Tuffley and I were gasping in like curiosity that Talking Heads are going to be on Colbert tomorrow. And
Maybe he's got
What is
COVID.
it?
So
Well, well, that's what made me suspect it's more an interview than a performance. Because I know somebody who had tickets for Colbert this week and didn't know about the fucking Talking Heads thing. And they're now wondering, like, do we get to go to a Talking Heads performance? Is that what's going to happen? But Wedge, hi.
Fuck!
Hi.
Oh my god.
Speaking of Talking Head,
Oh, Jesus. Well, it's the season. Luckily, I know an old priest and a young priest.
can you send them over here to take care of our power surges?
And that was the last we saw of Widge.
Did the old priest go out the window? Is basically the question now.
he'll be back in about 20 years as Brad Dourif.
Yep.
Oh my god!
By the way, spoilers for Exorcist.
And
In case you haven't seen it.
Just skip over the second Exorcist.
Yeah,
Spoilers for
exactly.
The other
Just-
two.
In case you haven't seen it.
well, it actually happened here, so I don't really need to see it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're questioning the Talking Heads appearance on Colbert tomorrow. So, although maybe they'll firm up when like the damn thing comes out on Blu-ray, because I haven't found a date for that yet. I keep hearing it's mid-November, but I haven't seen anything else on that. So
Yeah.
maybe A24 will cough up a date.
Or not.
Or not. Like I
And
looked
there
like,
goes Widge.
yeah, I looked and I'm like, well, why are they on Colbert now? Because I don't think Stop Making Sense is even in theaters anymore.
Yeah, it is.
Well, when it was in theaters, they couldn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Alamo Brewhouse here has it, and then we have a chain called Marcus that is still showing
Okay.
it. I don't
Is-
think it'll still be here after Friday. It might be here another week or so, but it's still.
Yeah, because it's already out of theaters here. Because we went like, was it week 3 that it was out?
I
Mhm.
mean, we have a stupid amount of movie theaters here, and I know it's still playing at one or two here.
Yeah. I mean, when we went, I think we were like the only people there. So, but which was good, because we actually got to talk during it, and no one cared. So,
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic.
oh yeah,
And the sound is great. The fact that Jerry Harrison helped do the sound on it is also great.
yeah. And apparently they just got lucky finding like a clean print of the film. They got super lucky finding like a clean print of the film and then clean audio to like
Wow.
remix everything. Because apparently Sony just happened to have like a negative copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they were able to do that. That's what they did the restoration on the film on. Because apparently all of the other releases were like copies of release of release prints. So apparently the one they found in like just a rando Sony collection of like reels is the one they used for the actual this remaster that came out. But it looks great.
It looks great. It sounds great. You know. Yeah.
I just saw today, just speaking of looking great and sounding great, saw today that Universal is putting out a 4K restoration box set of 8 Universal monsters.
Yes.
Ooh,
Looks gorgeous.
gone.
It has
You're,
like
you're still there. You're still there, Widge.
yeah,
Oh, I
you're a
am?
little quiet, but
Okay.
you're there.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Hello, disembodied Wedge.
Hello.
But it has Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera. I don't remember all 8, but it had Creature from the Black Lagoon. It looked sexy,
Well-
but it's a limited. They're only printing out like 2,500.
And Jerry Mathers has the beaver.
And what's different about this one besides the fact it's limited?
Well, it's in 4K.
Oh, okay. Yeah, by the time I get 4K capability, they'll have it out, on a thumb drive or something.
Yeah.
What was that? Was it quick clips? The little tape ones that just had the same song on it and looped.
Yeah.
The little mini
Yeah.
tapes. Yeah, those.
Yeah.
You mean which? You mean when COVID hit and you had to work your ass off, and then the trip you were saving up for got canceled? You didn't just up and buy yourself a 4K TV for no good reason?
No,
I did. It was my birthday present to myself,
I remember.
and it's absolutely, literally. I mean, it's seriously stupid. Less than 6 feet away from my television, or from my bed in that direction, is a 65-inch 4K TV that I bought
Wow.
just because I was like, might as well.
Is that like a wall?
It's not. It's a quarter of the wall, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I bought it thinking that eventually I'd be able to buy a PS5 and I'd play Spider-Man on it. Which then eventually I bought a PS5 and I have played Spider-Man on it. So mission accomplished. But also, don't let somebody who worked in food service for many, many years and could barely afford his rent work through a pandemic where you can't spend any money and he's making about $40 an hour. For the first time in his life, and rather than saving, goes, I need to buy a stupid television because I never had one. I grew up in a trailer.
Well, now you have your own personal IMAX theater.
Exactly.
I really do, and which is, to be fair, again, when I was, I know the second time I mentioned it, but when I was laid up in bed for a year, it was nice to have that TV. And then, after I got surgery, and had to like stay still while my neck closed, it was nice to have.
Well, you can also save $600 on a PSVR 2 and just bring the TV closer to you.
That's true. Yeah, just put a sheet over it. Just make a blanket for it.
Yeah, just basically, all right, I'm ready to go.
Woo!
That might make Beat Saber a little
Have you-
hard, but that's okay.
Have you traveled
Flailing
anywhere?
around.
Have you traveled anywhere recently and stayed in a hotel and saw how puny their TVs were, and then thought to yourself, I'd rather be home?
I mean,
Yes.
yes, to be fair, I did take a trip last December, and yes, the TV was stupid, but also I was in New York, and segue to something that Rob got to do earlier. I was in New York and got to go see Beetlejuice, so it was kind of awesome.
wow!
Really? You get to the room and really it's only 32? What?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was a New York room, and it was a
Yeah.
New York room that I could afford, and it was in Hell's Kitchen. So, I mean, the room was basically a bed with a door to the
I was
side.
going to say, did you have a combo TV VCR and a GameCube in the corner? Is that what
Pretty
they had?
much, yeah. The shower was a tap that also functioned as your coffee maker.
It was like
Yeah.
the neon clear GameCube. Oh,
Yeah.
Did you see?
not even any of the cool looking ones, like the clear one.
Yeah. It was only clear because the sides kept falling off.
Exactly.
Did I get to what?
Did you hire any heroes while you were there?
The very first night I was there, no, sadly, but the very first night I was there, we were walking around trying to find someplace just to, it was our first night in New York, so we wanted to get, maybe something to eat, certainly something to drink, and we came upon this like Irish pub that it just to be in Hell's Kitchen and this divey Irish pub. I was like, I am living my Marvel geekdom dream. I took a picture of myself, sent it immediately to Aaron, and I was like, I'm in Hell's Kitchen. I'm happy.
I heard through the grapevine that Aaron is a papa now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
congratulations to him wherever he is.
They let him spawn.
He's probably awake, and he's probably in his living room.
Oh yeah, he's a new dad. He's never going to sleep again.
No.
It's over.
And he's Irish.
Yeah. Yeah, no, his kid's gorgeous. You should check out some of the photos and stuff. And
Yeah,
I
I
say
saw-
this as someone who doesn't really like kids. It's a beautiful.
And by the way, I mean that in the fact that a lot of the people that he talks to are here in the United States, and he's in Ireland, so he's already at a disadvantage
Oh yeah,
for sleep.
yes.
Well, and I've seen the pictures of the child, and I just wanted to say, congratulations, and the mom's genetics are pretty good because it is a good looking child. So, it's always good when they take after the mom like that. Well done, well done, mom. I kid because I love.
I mean, to look like Aaron, it would have to be a very long, skinny child with a hair full of head already, or, like blonde hair to really look like Aaron. So it
I
can't
know.
really look
We
like Aaron
haven't-
until.
The child doesn't have a sailor's hat yet, so we have to rectify that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any kid can really look like Aaron until they're about 7, I'd say, when they start to hit the like lanky phase.
Mm.
I don't
Well,
know. What
the-
was it? Baby Christmas? What is that?
The Guinness makes it happen faster.
Well, see, also, yes, it's the thickness.
I didn't make that horrible racist.
Ladies.
joke. That was not me.
I didn't say anything. Where's I was just looking to see sailor hat. Okay, you can.
Aaron,
Oh.
I apologize in advance. Although if you're not listening or watching, then you know that's not my fault for if you're surprised by that.
Oh, sailor hat. Simple style. £5.99.
Okay,
Add to cart.
Reason-
that
that's
may be happening.
reasonable.
But if you really want to screw him, just have it delivered to an Amazon box near him, so he has to go actually go get it.
Oh Jesus, the kid. Yeah.
My God. Oh, do they have? Oh, do they have like?
Hey, Aaron, we
matching-
got A24 to send you a copy of Stop Making Sense Over. It's in an Amazon box. Why don't you go after it?
No, okay.
Sorry,
Do they have a?
it's not as close as you think it is.
Do they have like a father and son combo sailor hat? No, perfect. Okay, what I need is I see sailor hats and I see like yacht captain hats, and I need to get a sailor hat for Aaron and a captain hat for the kid. And
Obviously,
just find
because
the-
we know who's running the house now.
yeah, I know. If we
So-
could finally, if I could just find the right size, I'll be working on that.
And then an apology letter to his wife.
No, no, that's it. I give the sailor hat to Aaron. I need to find something else for the kid, and then the find it like a captain hat for the kid, and then an admiral hat for the wife, for Mrs. Fever.
But you could do the skipper hat from Gilligan's Island.
Oh, hey, there you go. I like it. I like this plan. It's a good plan. I like it. It's got a good beat. I can dance to it. Okay,
This is
so
what
Cinema
Madison
hair-
allowed me to come up with.
so JJ, you saw Evil Dead the musical.
I did.
How was it?
I very much enjoyed it. First and foremost, before I say anything else, I very much enjoyed it. But you have to understand what you are going to when you go to that kind of show.
Yep.
You are not going to a high production like touring Broadway show.
So
Yeah.
time out real quick on this.
Sure.
So where did you see it?
I saw it in a theater here called Alberta Rose.
So this is a legit because I was just in North Carolina and I was going through Salem Winston,
Mhm.
and there was a small, tiny theater there in their art district, which is pretty much the entire city. And it had what was it? What did we just say? What did we just call it?
Evil Dead the musical.
Evil Dead the musical.
Yeah.
I was trying to, in my head I was saying Army of Darkness the musical, but I'm like, that's not right. Evil Dead musical, and I thought it was just something that they put on. This is a legit
Evil
full
Dead the
on
musical was
thing.
off Broadway about
Yep.
10-15 years ago.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you can, it is a musical now that you can license the rights. This
Like,
is
I
a
think-
touring production.
I
But-
think Dad's Garage did this at one point.
I
in-
think they did.
in the
And,
area.
and the soundtrack is on Spotify. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is the production that we saw. The theater had 3 rows. The entire middle section was referred to as the splatter zone,
nice.
and if you sit in that section, you will get gore soaked upon you.
Nice.
When I found out that the show was playing, that section was already sold out, so we went to the non splatter section. And again, you're not going to see, this is not going to be a touring production of Hamilton. Basically, what you are seeing is a drag show for straight people. It's very campy. It's very over the top. I love the fact that anytime anybody gets shot, which is a lot in that musical, they're holding a water balloon full of blood, and so when they get shot, they squeeze the water balloon and throw the popped blood onto the crowd. None of the people in the show were what I would call singers. They did fine, but I would not call them, you're not going to see, perfect harmonies or anything. The guy who played Ash was the most easygoing Ash. I mean, everybody else was at 11 and he was like at about 6. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to be the other way around?
I would have thought so, but it actually, in a way, was kind of refreshing because everybody else was so over the top that Ash was just sort of like, going through the motions.
Well,
Nice.
I think that's when you make the decision of I'm going to stand out by standing back.
Yeah. So, when everybody else had jazz hands, he had,
Yep.
hey.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if it was anything if it was not campy, if it was not over the top, and if it was not kind of ridiculous, it wouldn't be Evil Dead, because I mean,
Right.
Evil Dead is all of those things.
And you have things like, there are lines that are delivered from the different movies. The script is kind of an amalgamation line wise of all three. It's basically Evil Dead 2,
Right.
kind of, but there's the ending takes place at S Mart, so it's a little bit of Army of Darkness, but there's definitely a scene where Ash shoots somebody and they're like, holy hell, what's that, or something, and Ash goes to the front of the stage, holds the shotgun above his head and says, "This is my," and the entire audience starts going boomstick. It's that kind of show.
That's
And
fantastic.
it really was even all of its rough edges and warts and everything made it more fun to me. If it had been really, really polished, it wouldn't have felt Evil Dead-y.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, the budget for the first film was how much? And basically, it was mostly Bruce Campbell getting thrown around and doused with blood.
Oh yeah, and like the beginning, the opening number to the show is the number where they're in the car, like going to the cabin, and the way they do that is, one person's holding the trunk, one person's holding the back door, one person's holding the front door, Ash is holding the steering wheel, so they're, and then they sing this, we're 5 college students on our way to an old abandoned cabin in the woods, so it's like I said, the best thing I can say is the best explanation I have is that it really was a straight person drag show, and it was great.
It's pretty great. It sounds like everything I would want from that show.
Yes, and less, which is more.
Now, have you ever seen the Night of the Living Dead musical?
No.
I would love to. The pictures I've seen of it, the whole set and all the people are made up to be black and white, so it's like the film.
Oh,
and it's ridiculous. But yeah, that soundtrack is also on Spotify, and it's very, very silly. Not as silly as Evil Dead, but silly enough.
And I will tell you, if you buy tickets to the Splatter Zone, it tells you will get gore soaked.
Yep.
They're not lying. There is a point in the show where they make a point to make sure that everyone who is in the Splatter Zone, without giving away the entire joke, but they make sure that every single person is soaked in blood. It's watery blood, but
fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's not an inconvenient truth, the gore zone.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Well done. Yeah, that the Night of the Living Dead musical is kind of campy. I always wanted to do if I knew how to do anything about opera other than be confused by it, I would want to do a Night of the Living Dead opera, and the whole conceit is that the living people sing in English, but once you're dead, you sing in German. But I've no idea.
Not understanding opera isn't a barrier to this, Wedge.
I don't know. The only thing I know about opera is when I have, on those rare occasions when I have seen live opera, they're singing, and then there's the subtitle thing at the front of the stage, and I just remember them singing and singing and singing different words. I don't know the language, but I can tell they're different words. And yet there's one line of dialogue on the thing for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, what are you hiding from me? Not to be, not to come across as paranoid as I actually am. But I mean, what the fuck, people? I want to know what you're not telling me. Because it just made no sense.
It's also weird if you go see one of the pop culture operas. Like I saw Carmen, and there's so much music from Carmen that even if you don't know, it.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but I feel like I should sing along somehow.
But you sing along with the lyrics that somebody put on top of it, and it becomes very awkward.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
you just
Was
do the-
Rockapella there or no?
You just do the bit in Bohemian Rhapsody and pretend it's that.
Yeah. It's like, and I don't know what they're singing about in Italian, but this is the song where my dad used to sing about spitting in a spittoon. The Cuspidor. Use the Cuspidora.
My mom did that. She would make a joke
She's
about
spinning up a
Carmen.
spittoon.
It's the song from Carmen, the
Oh.
Dora song. And it's
Yeah.
Dora, don't sit on the floor. Don't spin on the floor. Use the
Or use the
Cuspidora.
Cuspidora. That's what it's
Yeah.
That's what it's for. Yeah,
Nice.
which I think is from a radio thing of the 30s or 40s that was popular in popular culture, because I've seen this come up. This is the third time this has come up this week.
duh.
This week.
Yes.
What the fuck life are you leading?
It's Rob's life.
Man,
Come on,
you don't
guys.
wanna
You know.
fucking, JJ, I will trade.
It's Rob's life. He talks about opera.
I will take every busload of crazy motherfuckers you have for one day of my life this week. And if you want the last hour of my life, you can fucking have it.
Just
But
be
Do you,
just
do
be
you want-
aware. I live in Florida.
Do you want COVID?
no.
Okay.
No.
So Rob,
I'd rather have
tell us how you
this-
really feel.
Per the advice of legal representation, I will not address that issue at this time.
You'll be taking no questions at this time.
I had a week
About
this
that
week.
specific thing.
To be clear, you're not currently up for Speaker of the House, are you?
He has a better chance.
I,
Oh my
I would
God.
not be surprised, honestly.
That would be awesome. No. Can you be Speaker of the House and just say no to everything?
I think that was just what happened.
Yeah.
Can you just like have Speaker of the House and just say that, okay, guys, here's
Speaker of the
madness.
House.
Yeah.
There's a parody
Shove it up
song
for-
in there somewhere.
Like,
Shove it up
Okay,
the
guys.
speaker's ass.
itchy wigs, you all gotta wear them.
Wear them where?
Carmen, you're okay.
Oh,
All
dude.
filibusters have to be formed in the form of a question.
So, Jay, you saw Beetlejuice, right?
Yeah.
Did the guy?
Well, it's the second time it's come up. One more time.
I'm just making
Fuck
sure.
it.
Before I don't want to ask the man a question without.
No, I'm just saying. Never mind.
Careful, Florida man. Careful.
Let's switch out my hat.
So,
All right,
anyway,
there we go.
did they?
Oh, wow.
Did the guy
Holy shit.
playing
It's
Beetlejuice? I know it
Michaels.
breaks the fourth wall, but did he like direct the audience at all? Did he like talk to them at all?
To some extent, and I mean, because this is that one time in my life that I can actually say that I saw the original person do anything on Broadway.
Nice.
I have
Okay.
never been able. I mean, I have seen all of. I guess that's not entirely true because I did see. So I've seen 3 shows on Broadway. I saw last time I was there. I saw Wicked and I saw Beetlejuice. And the first time I was there, I saw Young Frankenstein, and Young Frankenstein didn't really play long enough to lose much of its cast. So I saw
Okay.
most of that cast.
Okay.
So I saw Alex Brightman as
Ooh.
Beetlejuice, and there was a lot of freedom to it. So part of it is it's hard to tell to some extent because he was so comfortable in that role, how much he was improving and was so comfortable with it that everybody rolled with it, and how much of it is just that skill of being able to say the same thing over and over again and making it feel like he's just saying it for the first time.
Right. Kind of Eddie Izzard or Billy Connolly, or
Yeah.
where you have where it all sounds improv, but some of it has to not be.
Right.
So-
But like the thing that you said to me on Facebook of at one point, he turned to the audience and said, I can hear you, right? He didn't do anything like that.
Yeah. So what happened was he made a couple, jokes about vaping and things, right? But then somebody,
yeah, those jokes are in the show.
so somebody made a joke about, or he said a line, and apparently somebody heckled him, right? The actor playing Beetlejuice, and he stopped, and he's like, "This is not television. I can fucking hear you." At which point I was like, I looked at Janet. I'm like, "This is awesome. This has made my entire day." It literally was like he did not care about breaking the fourth wall and
Well, he's Beetlejuice. I mean,
Yeah.
No, it was great. It was like
it's perfect.
it was awesome. It was great. Yeah, I'm excited you got to see Evil Dead and that you enjoyed it. That makes me feel better.
it's fun. It's very bloody, and there's a lot of profanity, and and a cast of, let's see, there's 5, it's a cast of like 7 people, including some double casting. And it had, I will say, so one of my favorite things that actually kind of combines both of those shows is I personally believe that the song at the beginning of the second act of Beetlejuice, not the the sound of a scream song, but the song before that is one of the best setup jokes, because it all hell goes loose at the ending of the first act, then you forget about it, and when you come up, it sets up a perfect joke that, again, I don't really want to ruin, but it is, especially if you have a dark sense of humor, it kind of takes a second for you to get into the feel of it again, and you're like, oh shit, we're going there. And I almost died. Evil Dead had a fun joke to that as well, in the fact that the intermission comes at the end of a song. It's a weird, it has a tag that feels like a one-act closer, when somebody walks in and he's like, this is not as bad as it looks, and of course it looks terrible, but because the double cast, when they come back, of course all the bodies that are lying dead aren't there anymore. But then it cuts back, and when the curtain goes up, he cuts back to the ending of the song that the first act ends with, and he turns around and goes, this is not as bad as it looks like. For one thing, there's not a pile of bodies anymore. So it's that kind of humor.
That's awesome. Because when I heard that they were doing that, I'm like, does there need to be an Evil Dead musical? But then
Yes.
I'm kind of intrigued. So
When I bought, so the first time I heard it existed, I bought the CD. That's how long ago it was.
okay,
And I have been obsessed with it for quite some time.
okay.
Well,
So
and
I don't think that's going to tour before 2 years. I think it's going to be a bit before it tours. So
Well, I mean, like I said, it does have touring shows, and you can, any regional theater that wants to can get the rights. So it's just a matter of willpower at this point.
nice. Well, and the other thing, speaking of not sure there needs to be something, have you guys seen the critical reception of the Toxic Avenger remake?
ooh,
I saw the
With-
trailer.
I'm hoping it's
I know,
good.
I know there
Haven't seen
was
the
one,
trailer.
but was there a critical reception of it?
Everything I've heard has been incredibly positive.
Oh, okay.
I saw.
You had me worried there.
I saw the imagery of what Elijah Wood looks like in the film, and that's pretty amazing. And I
Yeah.
saw the first trailer.
I
Now
didn't
the
even see
trailer doesn't actually show who's playing the Toxic Avenger, but I don't know. Have they fully said?
Well, I mean, I know. Well, they've said that Peter Dinklage is playing the character who turns into the Toxic Avenger,
Okay.
and I think he voices the Toxic Avenger, but I don't know
Okay.
that he is the Toxic Avenger.
Okay. That explains.
Yeah,
I was pretty.
I imagine I was Toxie's supposed to be like a CGI thing.
Oh.
So
I mean, I was pretty confident he was going to play that character. I didn't know that for a fact, but again, I saw a still of him wearing a tutu, and I was like, "Well, that's probably him then."
Yeah, I am. Well, once I heard what was happening and who was in it, I was like, really? I kind of like that Peter Dinklage is kind of like, he's kind of like doing the Daniel Radcliffe career thing, but toned back only slightly, you know? Whereas Daniel Radcliffe will do any goddamn thing that I think amuses him at all. I think Peter Dinklage will do some serious like stuff and then do like Toxic Avenger, where you just go, what?
I mean,
Like-
to some extent, Elijah Wood does that as well. In the fact
Yes.
that like some of the movies he's made, I mean, like Cooties is fucking brilliant. And if you haven't seen Cooties, watch Cooties.
Yes, I had. It's when was that? That was a while back, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
well
Well,
done.
like-
I saw that.
like all the horror films he produces.
Oh yeah, he did a whole like horror history podcast, I think, at some point.
He's also got like a video game side gig, video game development thing that does like
Nice.
the thriller games and the horror games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his company produces. His company name is something like Spectrovision, but I don't think that's quite right. But he produced Cooties, he produced Maniac, and and does those kinds of horror movies because that's what he grew up with and that's what he loves.
Right. Nice. Yeah, he's one of those where I kind of just I see his stuff, but it's very like off to the side. So when he shows up, it's like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
But
I know
no,
a lot of people around here that met him. Apparently, he's a real nice guy.
Well, what was it during high COVID? He was just hanging out playing Animal Crossing with anybody.
Yeah.
He would buy turnips from people for ridiculous prices.
There was a barcade that opened here maybe about a year before COVID, and he showed up to DJ their opening, and
nice.
So he happened to be in circles around people that I knew.
Well, that's very cool.
And that killed the conversation.
Well, it's
Fuck
just
you, Elijah Wood.
Oh my God.
So a wheel has been brought out.
Uh-oh. What do we got?
What? Oh God.
Okay, it's the Depeche Mode songs are death.
Oh no, I'm dead.
What?
Is this a game?
Do we name a Depeche Mode song?
He doesn't.
I quite literally can't.
Does that,
Oh, okay.
wait, so does that mean everyone else automatically won the game?
I think so.
I guess so.
Hooray!
You literally said he could save his life. He couldn't name 3 Depeche Mode songs.
And I can't
He can't even name one.
I can't even
Hang
name
on.
one. The one
Hang
that I thought is the wrong band.
So wait. What's
It was
what
a
was,
kid, wasn't it?
what was the song?
Oh,
What
you're
was
gonna
the
laugh
song?
at me. You're gonna laugh at me.
Staying
You're gonna-
alive,
No, I don't know that I want to put myself forth. To
Mr.
that
Blue
kind
Sky.
of- So okay, I have already
Did
admitted.
you say Mr. Blue Sky?
Yes. I have already admitted to you guys that is a genre of music that completely passed me by.
That's okay.
That is an era that who I once mentioned that I stayed away from what I thought of as like cool people music, and that was what I considered cool people music. Those were the people that in my school were like, the ones that hung out and smoked cigarettes and all the chicks like stared at them from afar, whereas I was the goofy punk rock metal show tunes guy, and nobody could ever get a handle on that. So so all of what I considered cool music, I just fucking stayed away from. And Depeche Mode is one of those bands that I get confused with a bazillion other bands. And so I will say right now, I know that Personal Jesus is not their song.
It is.
It is.
It is.
See,
It
that's
is.
how little I know.
You knew a Depeche Mode
I want to
song.
know. I want to know what school you went to.
Internet applaud JJ. He did know one Depeche Mode song.
Too bad he's already dead.
I'm already dead. I already said I didn't know, and I'm dead.
I want to know what school you went to.
And
can
sadly,
I go
he
back
knew
in
that
time
one.
Yeah.
And alter the timeline to where I'm a cool kid.
Yeah.
Because
Murrah.
yeah.
Murrah High School, Jackson, Mississippi. It's all yours.
All right.
Yeah, because see, like the
Alright.
punk metal people were like the cool people in
We
high
were the
school.
trailer trash in my school.
Yeah, that was flipped.
All right. Tough.
'Cause it
You
was-
get the.
Because it was like the metal people, and like because I was in high school in the early 90s, it was the metal people and like the suburban white rappers.
Oh yeah, no, the kids that were
Yeah.
into the early white rap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the plan then will be Toughly. You and I will get the weasel. Rocks will distract him, and you guys can find a way to sabotage the collider so that this can happen. So Toughly and I could suddenly go back in time and like Depeche Mode to be cool kids.
Yeah, and then I'll be the kid with hobbit hair, because I never let it grow long. I just
Yeah.
let it grow like shoulder length, which just means it was kind of big and scraggly.
But you didn't have the curtains, so that didn't really work out, did it?
This
Okay.
is showing my age. But when you said I'll get the weasel, I thought of Pauly Shore.
Probably sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
live in Florida.
Just so come to Jackson, Mississippi, William B. Murrah High School, and and you'll see that those of us who I think honestly only if you went back to my high school and went to my graduating class, I honestly think maybe 3 people would remember me. I just was not there.
We, like the school I went to, the punk and metal kids and like the new wave kids were all like buddies because we were all beaten and hiding equally. So
Yeah, well, they probably beat up on the theater kids too, so that's where I was as well.
they were actually theater. They were the theater kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, in my high school, I went to a football school.
Okay, I did kind of too, but yeah.
And a basketball school.
Mine was football and soccer, so that's worse.
The year that I was in, I wasn't in high school for a year. I was in there a little longer than that. But one of the years I was in high school, one of our guys went to like state, whatever, all starry, whatever. It was a big deal. He got picked, and then he didn't have to go to college because he got drafted out of high school.
He was a big prospect. He was a committed prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I remember who he was? No.
No.
At one point in time, I think the two of us had a conversation because, like, at around 10th grade, we were like the 2 tall kids in school, and then he got taller than me.
I was on yearbook staff, and we had to send notes to people going, "You can't all use the one Pink Floyd lyric for your quote." And also, I know a good half of those people had no idea what they were quoting. So,
Yeah.
In my yearbook, the photo they took of all the seniors, me and my friend were there. We're not in the photo, and it's before Photoshop, so we have never been able to figure out why the 2 of us are not in that photo. We were there, and I can show you exactly where we were standing, and just neither of us are there.
Is this a plot to the next Final Destination?
Probably, but man, they've taken their sweet fucking time. I've been out of high school for a while.
Or
Yeah.
a very bad update of Goonies.
Or this could be some sort of Back to the Future thing.
Yeah.
You just don't know it's happened yet. You
I
haven't
just
gotten to that point.
I went to a school in Mississippi. I am too fucking stupid
Wait.
to realize I don't exist anymore.
So this is not. I was going to postulate that this was a school you attended while you were living in the mountains of Florida.
oh, or this is Back to the Future 2, or they replaced you for somebody else.
Yes.
Yes. It was Ricky Rackman.
Now, is there actually
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
is there actually somebody there in the spots that you thought you
it's
were?
open ground. And the thing is, so my buddy Jason and I were standing in a spot that is now it's just grass. It's open. But the thing is, we know the person that I was standing next to because they were the next person in the alphabet. You know, because if you go to school, you know, with the same people for a while, you know, like when they line up the whole school, you know, Jason Hawkins was always right in front of Chris Hutchinson. It's just the way it worked.
So,
And
did they maybe retake the picture on a day that you guys weren't there?
I mean, that's all. Of course, that's a possibility. Of course, that's the most logical possibility. But that's not the fun possibility.
Yeah,
So
I don't like to think that ever happened.
Yeah, I deny that. I mean, yeah, there's a whole. But the thing is, everybody's there except the 2 of us, and
God.
we didn't get invited to that photo. And it's not like we were both absent on the same
God
day.
and his giant eraser has spoken.
Yeah. Yeah,
The whole entire how's it feel, JJ, that the whole entire class got together and said, "Do not tell JJ or Jason, but we need to retake these photos."
I'm fine with that, honestly. I mean,
It means they were thinking about you.
Wait.
It means you made an impression
All
do
right.
you know how
So,
many
by not making an impression at all.
all right. So we tell JJ and Jason it's skip day,
Yeah.
and then everybody else just shows up.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I had theater class that day, I would have shown up anyway. That's the theater nerd I was.
Yep.
What plays
No.
did you do that year?
So because of the weasel, you wound up in a different timeline where you and Jason, neither of you went to that school.
Yes, Midsummer Night's Dream and Oliver.
Why are we
Hmm.
giving Pauly Shore omnipotent powers?
Doesn't he already have them?
Because he's Owen Reese in the MCU.
Okay.
Because
Ew.
honestly, if we don't give them to Pauly Shore, we'll have to give them to Rob Schneider, and the universe can't handle that.
Oh God.
I just don't want to hear I'm the molecule man.
That's okay.
Hmm.
But I'll give him a burger and then he'll save us when the universes are destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, actually, that could take us into the Secret Wars bit, since they're gonna apparently the theory.
So what is this? The 2016 Secret Wars and not the 84 Secret Wars? Is that what this is? Or is it just a combination of both?
Guess. I mean, I don't know. Well, it being the MCU, my assumption is it will be some combination of both, whatever they think works best in the medium.
Because just for spite, they'd probably do Secret Wars 2 and just introduce the New Mutants just so
Oh
they
my-
can kill them.
Oh my God. Or the Beyonder. Oh
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
Well, as long as Tom Holland gets to teach the Beyonder how to poop,
That's,
my
the-
God.
that's the whole.
No.
that's been made worth it.
No. Well,
Hold on a second. It just hit me. We're talking about Secret Wars? For whatever reason, I've been thinking Secret Invasion. I'm like, I still haven't finished watching the stupid thing.
you're not
But
missing anything.
wait, what happened?
So Tom Holland made an appearance in Secret Invasion, and there was a scene.
Yep.
Yep. And taught a scroll.
And
how to
somebody
poop.
pooped? Wait,
Yes.
what?
Taught a Skrull how to poop.
Yes.
You mean
and
you were
thus
not obsessed
alleviated
with?
the war between Skrulls and humans, because really what it turns out is the Skrulls were all really constipated, and that's why they were angry.
Have you? Were you not obsessed with the Marvel line of comics in the whatever that would have been like what 86, 87?
Oh my God.
Oh, I know what Secret Wars are.
Right. No, well, but
Were.
Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2 are Secret Wars was contained, and very little from that really spilled out, except for the fact that the Thing stayed in space to be a wrestler, and
And the
Spider-Man-
symbiote.
Yeah, and Spider-Man brought home Venom.
Oh, it's a minute. Yeah.
Other than that, that was Secret Wars. Secret Wars 2 spilled out over all sorts of bullshit.
It was basically one of those, like, what don't they call them, like pink sky books because of Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they would say Crisis on Infinite Earths crosses over here, and it was just that the skies were pink. Because,
Yeah, I mean, what Jim Shooter got really obsessed with was what they had learned was if they put the logo in the corner but then not reference anything, they could still sell a lot.
A lot of what I was reading at that time was Spider-Man, and I will say the Spider-Man books, when they had that tag in it, for the most part, they because there was the storyline in Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, where the Beyonder turned I apparently have to hold my hand up to be the Beyonder, but turned a building into gold.
yeah,
And that was like 2 years worth of storytelling right there with
that was
the fact
actually
that-
I'd forgotten about that. That was actually really interesting.
Yeah, because at the end of it, Spider-Man gets pissed and steals a notebook off somebody's desk, and that notebook continued to tell stories for years. Actually
Yeah.
played into the whole Black Cat Kingpin story after a while.
So what's happening with Secret Wars now?
Well, basically, they have
That's what
announced.
it's
And just
called.
decide to bring up a late
Secret Wars now!
80s.
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
That's what it's
No, that basically the next Avengers film is going to be called the Kang Dynasty, I believe, and then the one
Okay.
after that is
Sure.
like a Infinity War Endgame. The second part is going to be Secret Wars, and
I did not
So
know
you-
that.
so you
I-
have the original Secret Wars, and then because that nobody can think of original names anymore, they did another Secret Wars and didn't call it anything other than Secret Wars. And that was basically the destruction of all the universes except for one. Well, there's one universe left. And then now all the universes are coming back, apparently, because now the Ultimate Universe is back, apparently. So I don't know.
Yeah. So
unless they have the Thors as some kind of thing, then there's no point.
Yeah, and I think what is it? Hickman's running the Ultimates now.
Yeah. Now I've read. Have I read all of Ultimate Invasion? I think I've read the first 3 issues.
I read 3 of 4. I didn't read the 4th.
Yeah.
By the time the 4th came around, I was like, wow, I really don't understand this, and I don't give a shit.
Well, I kind of like it for 2 reasons. One, I think the maker is fascinating, because it's funny, because one of the things that I thought about back when they still had the Heroes Reborn stuff was that if they were going to either merge everything into the Ultimate Universe, which was their original intent, they were originally going to bring the remaining books into the Ultimate Universe and just shut down the Prime Universe, but that didn't work. If they did that, or they kept the Ultimate Universe in some form, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if our quote unquote our older, wiser Doctor Doom wound up in the Ultimate Universe, going up against a younger, more naive Fantastic Four?
Oh yeah, because that was okay.
Yeah, and I thought
that was the plan, because they had thought, well, that went so well. Let's just let Jim Lee have X-Men and restart that.
Yeah.
That was the idea. They were going to let Wildstorm do the X books.
Yep. But then Heroes Reborn fell apart and they brought everybody back. But basically, so that idea of a villain or a hero from another universe winding up in a different universe and seeing what that does, I find fascinating. So the maker, Evil Reed Richards, is a very interesting character to me. And the fact that, and it's not really spoilery for anyone who hasn't read the book, but the fact that he knew that Miles came from his universe as well, and basically just showed up and said, I'm going home and I wanted to offer you a ticket home because it seemed like the right thing to do. I was like, well, that's fascinating.
I will say I liked that scene because when he said to Miles, you and I are from another universe. Did you know that? And Miles was like, yeah. So,
yeah.
And the ending of the first issue had a moment that affected me viscerally. So I will at least say that that was a good moment. It was after the end, and there was like a little 2-page afterwards of a science kid looking at a science experiment. A spider lands on his hand, and the maker goes up to him and goes, "Oh, you've got something on your hand there," and brushes it away. And so Pete doesn't get bitten. And I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
How dare you? There are certain things that need to happen. Peter Parker has to get bitten by a spider. Martha Wayne has to wear pearls. I mean, these things just have to happen.
Yep. No,
what if Peter's wearing pearls?
Superman's mom has to be named Martha as well.
Yep.
Which nobody knows.
All these things that have to happen.
Why did you say Mothra? Yep.
Man, Godzilla 0 or -1 looks fucking great.
And I'm also interested in the Monarch series, mostly because I'm Kurt Russell involved with stuff usually makes me already interested just from jump. And the fact that brought back John Goodman is also intriguing to me.
And I've been intrigued by it, knowing when they were working on it, just because it's one of those things that he couldn't talk about it legally, but if you just are kind of, since Elizabeth works at a comic book shop and people don't really keep secrets, I've known that Matt Fraction was working on that series for like about a year now. And I was like, oh wow, Matt Fraction's working on a Godzilla series for Apple TV. Fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, no, that holds some promise. but no, going back to Secret Wars, basically, so they used that. I think Tuffley, weren't you the one that said that was a lot of trouble to go through just to get Miles into the 616 universe?
Yeah.
I think that was your line.
Yeah,
But-
that was really all that was.
Yeah. And see, here's the other interesting thing is I remember when the Russos were done, because they'd done Endgame and they're like, we want to do something else. They said the one way that they could get them to come back was if they did Secret Wars. And at the time I thought, because I was trying to look up when the Secret Wars, second Secret Wars happened. But at the time I thought surely they meant the older one. But now I'm
No.
not sure.
Well, see, here's the other thing that because when you were talking about Kang Dynasty, I don't know if we're getting that. To be
Well,
honest.
but here's the thing.
I think Secret Wars is going to be both of them.
Well, but here's the thing. Are you talking about from Jonathan Majors possibly going away? Or
No, I don't. I think that's a ruse. I don't.
Okay.
Think, I think two things. I think the plan at some point you were going to get Young Avengers, because that seems to be where this is going.
you would think, and I would hope.
And the other thing is, I don't think, because they've been a little waffly on whether or not there were actually going to be two films, because they pulled the other one back off the schedule
Yeah.
for a minute and then they put it back on. It makes me wonder, are they just going to do the Infinity thing where it's both films are the same story?
Excuse me.
Well, that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought
'Cause I don't-
Kang was somehow going to lead into Secret Wars.
I don't know. Well, unless Kang's playing the part of Evil Reed.
I mean, isn't
I mean, theoretically, genetically speaking, comics wise, he is, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and the other thing too about the Jonathan Majors thing is because of, and I haven't seen Loki
I haven't
yet.
seen Loki yet either.
I haven't even seen Quantumania. I'm so far behind, it's ridiculous. But you could have a variant of Kang who looks nothing like Jonathan Majors, and if you had to, you've solved that. So
Well, I mean, you still can, despite the fact that there's an entire extra scene that says they're all Jonathan Majors. But
oh well,
they made a
You
point
can
of
get
doing that.
around that. Yeah,
You can get around that. You can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
around that because no one saw Quantumania. So
well, and the other thing too is what's oh wait
I mean, you can bring Wanda back because no one saw Strange. So
wait no, they
can-
can't bring Wanda back. They can't have her again. Wait a second.
The
I was
rumor
about
is
to-
they are. So
I was
Yeah,
about
that's-
to. Oh Jesus.
that is the rumor.
Well, hang
Like,
on.
the rumor
Hang
is
on.
she's in the Agatha series.
Well, hang on. So apparently, the series that I didn't know about until it was paused because of the strike
Yeah.
is now showing up as being canceled. The Wonder Man series.
no,
Yeah.
Has it actually been canceled, or did they decide to make that a movie because they did that with
No, it says
supposedly Armor
accord-
Wars?
movieweb.com, for whatever it's worth, says that it's been scrapped according to rumors, and Marvel has not confirmed this yet. Because what's funny is I was going to say that if you had to replace Jonathan Majors, the first person I would go with it would have been, and I'm going to fuck up his name because I fuck up everybody's name, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II,
Yeah.
who was well, he's been in everything. He was in Watchmen, wasn't he? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah, I know he's in Aquaman.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, well, he'd be perfect for it. But then I found out he was Wonder Man. So, but now I wonder. No pun intended.
Of course. Yeah. Well, the other thing is, and you, I think that was you that had the article about Marvel changing kind of direction on their TV shows, and
Yeah.
now we're gonna have pilots. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, and here's
We're gonna have pilots in multiple seasons. So
And we're
Agents of
gonna
S.H.I.E.L.D.
have-
then.
well, and we're gonna have showrunners.
Yeah. So
And I'm
so-
like, what do you mean you didn't have showrunners? I mean,
So- so basically you've gone 90 you've tried to be 90 miles away from what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were doing, and now you're just going to make a whole bunch of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I mean,
Well-
we don't know. I mean, they're trying something. I mean, the basic consensus, at least from what I have absorbed, and maybe
Hmm.
my corner of the web feels more
Yeah.
negative about things than I do.
Mhm.
Well, because people are really quick to point out the fact that Daredevil got canceled as signs that everything is crap. Well, it actually
Daredevil didn't get canceled though.
it didn't get canceled. They scrapped what they have, and
It's getting retooled because they didn't want to go the
Yeah.
Batman route.
and that's
Well-
fine. I mean, there's that in my opinion, that's if they weren't happy with it, it's fucking great that they are
Yeah.
shelving it for a little
Well,
while.
and and the other thing too to bear in mind is scrapping it just means they could and be reworking it, which means they're not throwing away everything.
Well, what
Um,
did
because
so
most-
what?
Because most of the series, I think Loki season 2, the guy said they hadn't done any reshoots,
Yeah,
but every single series other than that has been really retooled up and down the block. So
Yeah.
I've enjoyed Loki so far this season. Just for the record.
I know with the Daredevil series, I know that the writers that they've apparently sacked are still executive producers because I
Right.
guess they're going to reuse scenes from like the 3 or 4 episodes they shot.
yeah,
So they're going to reuse scenes from that. So there is going to be apparently courtroom stuff, but I
Hmm.
guess
and if
that's
they're
what they're going to use.
yeah, and if the whole thing about adding showrunners and stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean a drop in quality. What it
Yeah.
could mean is they just want more voices and input because what they have been doing has been very single creator forward, and sometimes that works for them, and sometimes they're not as
Well,
happy with it.
When
Well,
I said
it-
Agents of Shield, when I made the Agents of Shield reference, I didn't mean like drop in quality because
Mm.
Okay, because I hated that show.
I mean the later seasons went batshit crazy, but they kind of deserve to be, and that's fine. Because
yeah.
I
Once
if you're
once
gonna
it
do it-
got once it found its legs under it, I really enjoyed it for from episode 11 of the first season on through the end of the first season. I really enjoyed it.
but it's the same thing with like what was it? Legends of Tomorrow, which is
Right.
like fine, abandon the premise and just be batshit crazy, and that was fine for the majority of that show.
Yeah, I mean,
which
and when I say
appreciated.
I didn't like Agents of Shield, I think I watched the first 3 seasons completely.
Wow.
And the first season was okay. The second season they went through the same pattern of sucked at the beginning and got a little better by the end. And then the third season with the Kree, that season was ape shit enough. I enjoyed that season. And then I started the 4th season, and again, it dropped way in quality, and I was like, and Ghost Rider's here, and I don't give a shit.
So the problem.
I did not like Ghost Rider, but anyway.
What? So the
I don't like
problem.
that
so
Ghost Rider.
the yin and yang of
Well,
that
I meant-
series.
Yeah.
The whole yin and yang of that series was based on them trying to stay somewhat connected to the movies.
Yeah.
Like the minute they were able to just go, fuck this, we're just going to do whatever we're just going to tell whatever story we're going to do. Because that's basically the last 2 seasons of that show.
Mhm.
It's basically where they just said, okay, we're going to find corners of the canon that we want to use, and whether there's a movie going on or not, because they won't tell us.
Yep.
We're just going to do whatever, which I kind of appreciated more than them trying to make tenuous connections to the films that were somewhere. Like the whole Darkhold thing was just some sort of tenuous connection to Strange, which they never paid off on. Right?
Mm,
That was the whole deal with that. So, it was nice for them to just go off in their own quarter and be able to allowed to do whatever. Which is kind of what I meant with that, because if you're going to do showrunners and you're going to commit to multiple seasons and your movie schedule is going to change, then I'm fine with you just picking a corner of the canon and just doing whatever without a connection to the films.
For
'Cause I
God's
think that-
sake, yes. Don't
I
connect
think-
everything.
Because the thing that's holding, I think, when it works, it works. When it works well. But the thing that I think I mentioned in another conversation is the thing with WandaVision is great by itself. And if it had actually paid off in some sort of character development in Strange, it would have worked.
Yep. But
it didn't.
and
and-
specifically because the writers not only didn't watch WandaVision or read
Yeah.
WandaVision, but did not want to.
And weren't aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the jury's still out on whether, Falcon and Winter Soldier is actually going to connect back to anything, because we haven't seen anything else on Earth.
Well, it sounds like it is, because looking at the cast list for New World Order, I mean, Elijah's in it. So I mean, they're calling back to the stuff in the series, and the other thing is you've got the guy who wrote Falcon and Winter Soldier writing the movie.
Yeah.
So
but also the distance between that and the film,
it's really
long. So I would prefer, if you're going to tell a story over multiple seasons, or you're going to make a show of multiple seasons, just don't have it connect to a film, because at least that way you can tell your story and you can tell it the way you want to without having to be pinned to, okay, this thing's going to happen in a film, so we can't do this reveal yet.
Yeah.
And we've got to pad it out for like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I know you said you didn't finish Secret Invasion, but part of my thing with Secret Invasion, I didn't hate the show as much as a lot of people did, but I did, when it ends, it doesn't feel like a whole ending, and it is connected enough to the Carol Danvers story that I feel like if we don't get payoff, and it doesn't, there can be whole bunches of shit that's not in the trailer. But if we don't get some sort of callback to the way that series ends and some sort of commitment to that, that series is going to fall in my estimation quite a bit, because there's elements of that ending that make the story that they seem to be setting up in the trailer not make any sense.
Well, and the main thing is,
sorry.
Well, it's okay. I just want to say real quick, the main thing I want them to do with bringing Carol into it is to explain how you had however many years that you had between when you promised you were going to find them a world and today. And we've seen all of these worlds with people living on them, and we've seen worlds without people living on them that can sustain life. And yet for some fucking reason, and you've got Captain Marvel, who can, fly in space without any help whatsoever. And you have all of these, you have access to the Guardians and the Kree and who are all you could talk to. Hey, by the way, if you find a fucking world nobody's using, let us know. How in the fuck did they not find a world that would have worked in all that time?
Because Galactus ate all of them.
Fucking sense.
It's the Surfer's fault. Yeah,
exactly. It's the Surfer.
Surfer took Galactus to all those, and so
listen,
all the uninhabited planets.
If they said some sparkly silver dude came in and fucked up everything, and they just made that reference, I would be totally happy with that.
But all they have to do to get a home planet is when Galactus goes to start eating one of the planets, they just throw a shit ton of Hostess fruit pies into space.
Oh my God. If we have a what if episode that involves the golden oldie and they bring in Marissa Tomei to voice the golden oldie, do you have any idea how much coin I will throw at that stupid thing?
We've just made JJ's evening.
In gratitude. That would be incredible. Or even better yet, have it be a variant of Aunt May and have Misty Lee come in and voice it, because she was Aunt May in one of the cartoons. I don't care. Fuck. I just want to see it.
Just have the season 3 of What If is assistant editor series.
Oh, listen. I've already said they need to do that. I want them to pull some of those stories and just have a quick rapid fire anthology of stuff that it'd be inside jokes like you wouldn't believe for you, me, and Tuffley and 6 other people.
So we can get
totally fine with that.
They keep telling us X-Men 97 is a series. What if it isn't?
Yeah.
What if it's just a setup? What if it's really Exiles?
Nice.
Don't fucking tease me.
But that means we could have a what if episode that takes place with Nightbird and Sasquatch having a fight in a blizzard.
Was it Snowbird or
I don't remember some other white character. Wendigo.
Yeah, Snowbird was the one who could change into various animals. Now Wendigo was the other giant god-like thing that Sasquatch was. So it could be Wendigo that you're thinking of. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
Tuffley's got to go.
No,
Or
no,
Rob's
that
got to
was-
go. Rob's
There you go,
got to go.
Somebody's going. Somebody's
Oh,
going.
Oh,
And you have to go soon, though.
bye, Rob.
boy!
Very impressive, Rob.
But yeah. So anyway, I
Oh,
don't.
Rob. Anyway,
The-
go on.
The whole thing about first of all, they're basing this off of rumors and things that Feige has half said about rebooting the MCU, like taking the bits that work and losing the bits that don't, and rebooting the stuff that you need to reboot. But I mean, talking about the fact that they're part of what I have loved about the MCU is that they are moving forward in time. And if they like do something like, oh, we're gonna bring back a new white Steve Rogers and he's gonna be Captain America instead of
Tamaki.
yeah, then I don't. Then it's done. It's like, well, what's the fucking point? I would just go read your comics in which nothing lasts and nothing is permanent, and
Well, I do wonder though. They are also taking pitches for X-Men now. So I mean, that's the other thing we've heard, right? They're taking X-Men pitches now.
Yeah.
Mm.
They have officially taken X-Men, starting to take X-Men pitches. So what if, what if we're getting to the end of the cycle and they put like the Avengers family of characters aside for a bit and then concentrate on a bunch of X-Men and then kind of go from there?
And then have Avengers versus X-Men. Nobody
Exactly.
cares.
Exactly. But what if I don't know what if the whole reboot talk is just, we're just going to do X-Men films for a while. Because there's enough of those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
just
they could easily, focus on something that wasn't as Avengers centric, and I don't think
like
people
maybe
would.
because depending on how long Holland wants to do these, keep doing the occasional Spider-Man films and just intersperse it with X-Men stuff because it's all in New York anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to do Krakoa, which God help
Yeah,
them, I hope they
you're not.
don't.
You can't yet. I mean, there are certain things like Civil War made more sense in the MCU because it was happening early in the quote unquote timeline of things.
Yeah.
But Krakoa has to take place way later when there's a fuck ton of mutants.
Yeah.
So
if you're gonna do it like with the mansion and the school in New York, then you can still have Spider-Man adjacent, and then you can kind of have the crossover there, and then you can have some Avengers characters cross back and forth.
Yeah,
and then you can do it that way, and I think it's fine.
I think the other thing too is it's fine to have. I like the fact that the Avengers, there aren't Avengers right now. There's no Avengers team right now in the MCU.
I mean, theoretically, you could just do an Uncanny Avengers film.
No, you could. But my point being is that you could have an Avengers team and just, they're off doing their thing over here and we don't deal with it. In fact, the other thing that I wanted to mention about not tying in the television shows is I think the trick is because you have all this timeline that you could play with, it's like, okay, you have this television show, and if you are going to tie in, you tie in to something that's already happened in the movies. So you're just telling this side story as opposed to something that you have to hit by a certain date.
Well, like the Netflix stories vaguely took place after the attack in New York.
Yeah.
Or you could do something like, okay, we're going to make the X-Men films. But while we're making the X-Men films, concurrently, we have New Mutants as a television show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which can have their own stories and do their own thing without necessarily crossing into the X-Men.
Absolutely.
And then you don't show the Avengers for a while, and by the time the Avengers come back, it's Gilgamesh and Dr. Druid and
oh wow.
Hawkeye and Mockingbird are running the team.
Yeah.
The West Coast Avengers.
It's West Coast Avengers. Or well, I mean, you could
West Coast Avengers?
I was gonna say you could do like you could do like the last incarnation of West Coast Avengers, where it's Kate and Quentin Quire and
Mhm.
And yeah,
that whole group.
Gwenpool.
Yeah, Gwenpool and that
Yeah,
whole group.
I
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, Kelly
Kelly
Thompson.
Thompson's, yeah.
one of the things that I like about the Gwenpool character is when they added her into the Marvel Strike Force game. At one point, you basically have a team, and she's part of the team that you're taking through this campaign. But then at a certain point, you're different characters fighting that team, and she actually says, "Wait a minute, what are we doing on this side? I don't want to be on this side. This is the wrong side." And so she, Sylvie, the Enchantress from Loki, says, "Oh, you know things you're not supposed to know." She says, "Yeah, I know. I do that a lot." She says, "I like you a lot. Let's be friends." But no, I think there's ways to do all of this stuff. It's and I think part of it is, and I don't remember if I mentioned this last time or not. One of the things they said in the Strike Force 5 podcast, which was all the late night hosts coming together, is they did a whole, it's fucking hilarious. They did a whole episode about first episodes, like the first episodes of their particular shows. And someone made the comment, you come in to do a late night talk show and you have all these ideas about how you're going to be different. And then 6 to 12 months later, you look like every other talk show because that's what works. And so when I look at the whole thing of, oh, we're going to do showrunners and we're going to do pilots and we're going to do, well, yeah, you are, because that's what works.
But if you're not trying something else, then we don't have innovation. So, they tried, it didn't work as well as they wanted to.
Yeah, no, exactly. The only thing that I hope that they keep doing are miniseries, because I think the idea of, I want to tell this story and it's going to take 7 episodes. And once I tell my 7 episodes, I'm done. And there's, no season 2. This is just a contained thing. So that way you could come in and pitch whatever you wanted. You know what I mean? You could go, and if you do the whole timeline thing, you could say, oh, hey, I want to tell an unknown Captain America World War II story. It's going to be animated, so we don't have to pay any actors. We just get the voices that want to come back, and we just do that for 7 episodes. And I like the idea that they could go, oh, this actually looks good. Yeah, fuck, do it. But I hope they don't get away from that and move into the whole, we're going to do multiple seasons. It's like, well, listen, don't do multiple seasons to do multiple seasons.
Right. Structure
do
the
multiple
show.
seasons because the story calls for it. And I would almost rather they, do where that's like, okay, this is Daredevil. And for that season ends. And then you come back a year and a half later, and then you do Daredevil Born Again. And it's like another season, and yet not at the same time, so that you can tell a different story and not feel like that you have to carry all the baggage that eventually kills you on a series, because you get, a certain amount into it, and your budget goes nuts, and
I almost wonder the idea of Marvel Comics Presents as a television show.
That'd be fucking great. I would love that, because basically, or basically that's a banner, because they've got, what was Werewolf by Night? It was just a Marvel special presentation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I fucking loved that one shot idea.
The same thing they did with Guardians at Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Just do a one shot. Boom, 1 hour and you're in and out. And can I just say as a sidebar that initially I fucking hated the idea of them colorizing, or at least showing the color version of Werewolf by Night.
Then I saw that trailer. Holy shit.
I know. Fuck, it looks amazing.
So that was my question. So did they originally shoot it? He originally shot that in black and white. So they're reprocessing it. Is that how they're doing it?
I don't know, but it's fucking gorgeous.
No, it looks amazing. It looks fucking amazing.
Because I know he originally shot that in black and white to do the color effects.
Mm-hmm.
I was already I when I watched the trailer, by the time the first couple of color shots were shown, I was pretty into it. And then by the time we got to Man-Thing at the end, I was like, I'm gonna watch this daily.
Yeah, it looks fucking amazing. But see, that I want miniseries and I want one shots because
Yeah.
that frees you up from having to do, the problem with Netflix, which was, well, we've got enough. We need 13 episodes. Well, we've got enough story for 11. Okay,
Well,
but
it's
we need
also
13.
one of those things. It's also one of those things where if they want to do the pilots, make the one shots pilots,
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
And-
backdoor
and-
pilots.
and then you do like the NBC mystery movie thing. You just
Yeah,
continue to make the things that work.
exactly. Backdoor
And there-
pilots. It's if it works, it was a pilot. If not,
Yeah.
it was a one shot. Hey.
There are certain series though. I mean, if you look at their track record, there are some that would naturally lend themselves to second seasons and some that don't. So
Mhm.
as long as you treat the material as what it needs, because I know they were moving Miss Marvel into the movies, but that could have easily had a second season. She-Hulk could easily have a
I
second
mean,
season.
Miss Marvel could still have a second season.
Yeah.
And I mean, bearing in mind, I would love to find out because when they weren't sure, when they thought they might lose Spider-Man, their backup young character to become an Avenger was Miss Marvel. So
Right.
I would love to see.
Because that worked
Okay.
so well in the video game.
Well, that's my alternative thought for Young Avengers, because I'm still thinking on the map there are some characters, depending on which version of Young Avengers you want to go with, that aren't going to be available.
Well, and you've got to multiverse it if you want to have Pagan and
Yeah,
Run Fast Kid.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought they were going to deal with that in Multiverse of Meh, but they were too busy fucking everything
Well,
up.
they might still do that somewhere, but depending on which, my whole thought on if they were going to make just Young Avengers just plain old Avengers at the end of it, because they're all going to be that old by the time we get there. But there's options. You could do Miss Marvel as one of the replacement characters. You could do Steelheart as one of the replacement characters, because then you'd have an Iron, because I don't know if we're necessarily going to have an Iron Lad because of the Kangness of it all.
Yeah,
But-
that would be weird.
Yeah.
So, they've already got Ironheart around, so we could probably have her.
And Armor Wars is a movie now, right? Didn't I hear that?
Sure, it's a movie. Sure, that'll happen.
And I don't want the MCU to introduce Viv.
Yeah,
That's just too much.
but there's a couple. Yeah, so there's a couple of characters they kind of have on the map, because we're still not even sure about. Well, Kid Loki, no.
Well, but you could bring in other characters. Like my first thought.
Yeah, you could.
My first thought when they humanized Sprite at the end of Eternals to give her a reason to age.
Yeah.
Is if she kept her powers, Young Avengers.
Well, we also don't have the resolution to that, so she may still get her powers back. So
No, sorry. Like I said, I don't know if she kept her powers. She lost her eternalness, so she's no longer android girl who can be rejuvenated every time they need one. But I was just like, well, if she's human and she can age now, then she could be around for Young Avengers. But you could and that's what I do like, is that they are able to work around, like, well, we could do this character, but this is a little weird. What if we brought this one instead? And they make it work. So
yeah, they've got enough options where they could do I'm still going to say Young Avengers, but again, by the time we get there, all of them are going to be, let's just call them Avengers.
that's fine.
Or
and
they
the
could do
thing
some
is, too-
combination if by the time they get there, if there's a Wolverine or Spider-Man, you could do New Avengers and just do it that way.
Well, and the other thing too is you could have the show be called Young Avengers, and they are
Yep.
just a team of Avengers.
Yeah.
And if anyone calls them the Young Avengers in the show, they're like, "What? Fuck you! We're almost as old as you are," and you just go and leave it that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I if they can calm the fuck down and get their schedule under control and not keep churning stuff out to just churn it out, and instead give the writers time to break the story, to fix it, because that was the most frustrating thing about Secret Invasion. Is I thought writers could fix this. They obviously did not have time, or you told them to just leave it, because this was so you could fix this so easily, and you didn't.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, I imagine the thought was, they already had timers in place for what they thought was going to happen and what they thought was going to come out.
Right.
And they had a runway for Marvels, and they were going to stick to that original plan, even though that plan changed about 4 times by the time they had written it.
Yep.
So,
Well,
I don't know how many reshoots they did on Secret Invasion is the thing, because
I think at least 2 major ones.
yeah. So, because they were doing, what was that? Dragon Con a couple of years ago, we knew they were doing reshoots on it because we thought they were going to have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters in it. And then,
Would have been nice, actually.
That would
Yeah.
have been perfect. I kept
Yeah.
waiting for it, but no.
yeah, so did Chloe Bennett. But so there were a bunch of reshoots going on. I think they added some more Olivia Colman stuff, which is, again, probably the correct decision.
Yes, absolutely.
When you can have more Olivia Colman, just have more Olivia Colman. It's
Are
fine.
you fucking kidding me? Absolutely.
Yes,
and now you talk about paying off on stuff from Secret Invasion. If we don't get like Excalibur or MI13 or something with her
I do
running
kind
it,
of want that.
yeah. I mean,
I
because
do kind of
she
want
is-
that.
she was great. She was the best part of it. She
I-
out-furied Fury. And I
hope,
want to see
hope they
her
do something with that. I hope they do something
and
with
her and I want to see her and Julia Louis-Dreyfus face off.
that. Yeah.
I wonder though, could you, if we wanted to rush into that, can you do Excalibur without X-Men characters?
Well, wasn't there was, because what was it, MI13?
Yeah.
That there was the MI13 series technically wasn't X related at all.
Okay. Because I mean, to me, of course, because I dropped out of comics for a long time. To me, Excalibur is the original.
Yeah, I know.
Because
The Alan Davis. Yeah, exactly. But you could
Because wasn't the MI13 series basically Marvel Global Frequency, where they just drafted people and whoever it was the team for that month?
Yeah, I think that's right. It's been a long time, but I mean, you could potentially bring in like Pete Wisdom as a mutate as opposed to a mutant or an Inhuman. You could do a couple other characters that way, and I love the idea of who do we need? Well, let's go tap them and bring them in, and so that way you have, your 2 core Global Frequency type characters, 3 or 4, and then bring in whoever. You have your guest star of the week or guest star of the series.
It seemed a lot like a superhero Mission Impossible,
which is fine with me.
Yeah, well, if you wanted to keep the appeal of the original Excalibur, you could actually just introduce a Captain Britain and hopefully a Megan, have Olivia Colman sort of be the person in charge, and give it a little bit of Exiles as well, and have them sort of going through different possibilities and multiverse hopping, and have that sort of bizarre comic caper that we had in the Davis run.
I keep thinking that's where they're going to go with TVA. So there's a door to that anyway. Because the more surreal TVA gets, you could go in that direction pretty easily.
Yeah. And nobody here has watched any of season 2 of Loki yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I have.
They do well, then you'll kind of get this, and I'll be vague. They do a really good gag of how people react to changing realities of no, that never happened before. Wait.
Okay.
It's a really nice gag. It's a really nice series of gags.
Well, and I would talk about non-X-Men characters. I would like Emilia Clarke's character back, because the idea of her with those powers working for Olivia Colman, and
that's what if they don't pay it off in Marvels, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
I know.
If the whole point is that the powers are connected and it fucks everything up, then the movie makes no fucking sense with her in existence. It makes no fucking sense.
Maybe it's like the flu. Maybe it's like the portion of the genetics that weren't doing that.
It depends. It depends on why the three of them are connected, because I know it has something to do with Miss Marvel's bracelet, or the what a gauntlet, whatever
Yeah.
that she has, because one of the things that I'm waiting to get paid off is that you have all of these. It looks like they're setting up all these ancient magical objects, like the rings from Shang-Chi, where they said, yeah, we've done an analysis and they're older than the fucking universe.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's some tie-in for various. I mean, if these are the new MacGuffins that are going to come into play at some point.
I was gonna
Well-
say, what if Kang's not the ultimate big bag? What if it is all things that summon Galactus?
I would be happy with that.
What
Because-
if these are all like artifacts that I don't
That's
know.
right, because Galactus comes from the universe before this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I one of the things that I love about Marvel is that they have shown they are willing to just blow shit up.
Mm-hmm.
So if they basically have Kang as like the ultimate red herring, and he winds up getting brushed aside by something like Galactus,
because they could very well do that.
they could.
They
They
could
could
very well
absolutely
be
do that.
setting us up for. Oh yeah, it was all about Kang. It was all about Kang. No wait, Kang.
It's also the MCU, so we think that Galactus, we think of Galactus a certain way, but for all we know, Galactus could turn out to be Howard the Duck and wear a funny hat.
Galactus could be in the collection already.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
It was the
Oh, yeah.
giant thing in the back.
Yeah, he had him under control, and then Thanos blew the place up, and now it's fucked. Thanks, purple shithead. Yeah, I don't know. I would love that though, because like one of my favorite things ever, and the thing I remind myself about constantly is I was sitting there going, why are they making it clear that Bucky is the Winter Soldier in the trailer for Winter Soldier? That's such a great reveal. Why would you do that? And it was because they were hiding something else, something bigger, and they wanted you to go, look over here. And I was like, that's so fucking smart. I fucking love it. So
Yeah, for the most part, with things that I enjoy, like Marvel and Star Wars or whatever, I try to just let the shit happen and then see what they. But I also know that I my standards for things that I enjoy are not necessarily the same as everyone here. Like
Yep.
I will go on record as saying not only did I enjoy Multiverse of Madness, I just rewatched it last week.
oh my God.
I didn't find it as offensive as Widge did, but I was watching it going, wait, what about this thing? And why is she doing that? And
Yeah.
why now? And
I think, I
Yeah.
think it was mostly the whole. I get really offended when you shoehorn characters into doing something that they would not do,
yeah,
and I don't think that, especially after WandaVision, they shouldn't have done Wanda like that. They had done this whole wonderful thing where they had dealt with Wanda's a villain because she's a woman and she gets crazy, and you know how women can be, and they dealt with that in WandaVision.
they do this really beautiful meditation on grief, and then like 5 minutes into Strange, it's kind of gone.
Yeah, it's gone. And I'm like, you've just shat all over WandaVision.
I
And-
I understand what you're saying, but I
Yeah.
also saw it I do see it as a fairly logical progression. Once you introduce dark magics.
Yeah,
Well, like I said, at the end of WandaVision, I thought, oh, this is very cool. She's decided she's going to deal with the Darkhold and try to figure out her powers so this shit doesn't happen again. That's actually a really smart idea.
Right.
And then and it would be one thing if I believed for a second that she was corrupted by the Darkhold.
if you sold it as an addiction or corruption, I
Yes.
think probably. I don't.
You mean
they
if
may
you
have
wrote
made
it?
that-
If you actually wrote it?
They may have made that connection, but I didn't quite.
No, I don't think they
Okay.
did, because at no point does she try to stop. The only time she stops is not for any other reason other than she's worried about what her kids will think of her. So so Wanda is turned into a selfish, evil harpy with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And it's just
Yeah, and that's not exactly
sad.
what I got out of it. I do see what you're saying. That's not what I got out of it.
Okay.
And and that's cool because I wish I could have gotten something else out of it.
Understood.
Because at this point, I'm like, whenever Elizabeth Olsen's like, yeah, I think my time in the MCU is done. I'm like, good, stay gone. They don't get to play with Wanda anymore. They can't. You haven't treated your toys well. You don't get to play with her anymore. You just
but Marvel
fuck right
has
up.
never treated Wanda well.
I know.
I mean, I just how many times has the origin, like sometimes it has to do with Wundagore, sometimes it has to do with
Magneto.
with
Sometimes it has. Yeah. At this point, she's not even a mutant in the comics.
However, I will say her new series, it's like maybe it's not all that new. It's like 7 or 8 issues into it now. That series is fucking great. Highly recommend.
The magic shop and
They somehow took like the best elements of the like neighborhood parts of Buffy and turned it into a Scarlet Witch series that works.
I mean, she has a magic shop with Darcy. That's your setup.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's the setup for the whole.
That's how they
whole
introduced Darcy into the 616. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking amazing. I gotta read that now.
And then it even has a story, a nice payoff with that as well. Because what Wanda does is the shop is built around a door of last resort. So whoever like has nowhere to turn, this door will appear, and if they go through it, they end up in Wanda's shop. And then
so it's like a reverse Siege Perilous.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't be seen on television screens until you go through it, and now you can.
It's the thing from Cyberpunk, though. It's the mod from Cyberpunk. You can't see yourself on the cameras.
Oh, yeah. That's a game thing.
Cyberpunk, I don't know. The X-Men, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, Widge,
Yeah.
when you finally do see Quantumania,
Yeah.
can you report back and let me know what movie Michael Douglas was actually in? Because he's the entire time, it feels like he's acting in a completely different movie. I have no idea what movie he thinks he's in.
Yeah.
All right. I will bear that in mind.
And I didn't hate Quantumania.
No.
It's just there were parts of it that I was just like, anyway.
Yeah, as someone who has gone on record of saying that he thought that the Ant-Man movies, at least the first two, were two of the most overrated of the Marvel universe. You know, my best friend feels the complete opposite way. They're his favorites. I didn't think the comedy played all that well. Quantumania is probably my favorite because it is the most like ball to the wall batshit,
Okay.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Even though it's got its problems, but it to me feels the most like somebody went, let's try to figure out what would happen if Kirby and Ditko did a movie.
It is crazy. And I do like the movie. It's just
No,
Yeah.
I
Michael
get it.
Douglas is probably the most accomplished actor in there. It's like I think he thinks in a different movie.
Yeah,
He may have never have been around any of the actual actors. He may have just green screened the entire thing, from what I can tell.
Now that I think about it, they might have pulled the thing with him that they did with Halle Berry with what we're hearing now about Last Stand,
Oh
where
God, I can't.
where Matthew.
I can't, and yet I absolutely do believe that.
So, for those of you who don't know this story, apparently Matthew Vaughn told New York Comic Con over the weekend that the reason he quit X-Men Last Stand was because he was made aware of a not real script that was the one they showed to Halle Berry to get her to sign to come back.
And after she signed, they were going to trash it.
Yep. And that's why he said he quit the film.
Yeah, he was like, "What? Why is the sequence with Storm in Africa here?" And they're like, "Oh, that's just for Halle Berry." I'm like, "You pricks! The least you could have done is let her skip that film."
So yes, it's quite possible that Michael Douglas was in a separate film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is true. This is true. Well, the thing about
And possibly Bill Murray. Who the hell knows?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing-
Bill Murray, unless it's a Bill Murray film, is always in a different film.
This is true. But no, I mean, Ant-Man worked for me because of Michael Pena, and Paul Rudd was just quite good. It wasn't stellar, but it was amazing to me that they had pulled off an Ant-Man movie at all.
Agreed.
And-
Yeah.
And I do like how the heist element of that comes back in essentially Endgame,
Yes.
where you see so. And I did like what a badass Wasp was in the second one.
Look,
that kitchen
Marvel-
fight was nice.
Marvel, we just want to know if Lewis is okay.
We just want Lewis to do like basically a Marvel special presentation where he sums up the entirety of the MCU.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes,
We make him the Crypt Keeper.
no,
Of, like the Marvel Anthology show.
no.
Or-
We make him. Wait, we make him
takes
the
over for
understudy
Jeffrey Wright.
Watu for the
Exactly.
What if?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's Lewis.
Yeah. Jeffrey Wright steps out and Lewis comes out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now I will
oh.
say that first season of What If,
yeah.
will have a moment that I can never, ever, ever, ever relive again.
What's that?
Because I was in a situation where I was on legal, well, they're all legal, but prescribed and unprescribed painkillers,
Yes.
and was watching the episode of What If where they break the fourth wall.
Yes.
And I had to watch that episode again like a couple of days later because I was entirely too high to figure out what it legit scared me when Jeffrey Wright started talking to me. Now again, I was on a lot of painkillers at the time. I was in a lot of pain at the time.
Yeah.
But that I will never have a moment like that in another television show ever again. And so that series is very, very near and dear to my heart.
Well, and mine as well, because not only did you have the Star-Lord Black Panther
It was
episode, which
amazing.
was just so good, but you also had quite possibly one of my top 10 favorite moments in all of the MCU, which is Jeff Goldblum saying, "Release the foam," which I was in the fucking floor laughing my ass off. I could not even bear it.
Yeah,
It
Party
was just
Thor is
so-
one of the best episodes.
It was so good. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in that, especially and then Marvel Zombies, where there was shit in there that I went, wow, did they just do that? Did I just actually see that on the Disney Channel? Did I just watch that?
Yeah.
So
So actually, that brings up a question: Is the
Hmm.
Marvel Zombie show still a thing? Do you know?
as far as I know,
Okay.
I think it's still in, because
Is
all the
that still a
animation stuff
thing?
is in
Okay.
production. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't, because didn't they have a date on it? I thought they had
They have
year.
dates on nothing now because Echo was supposed to be end of this year and that got pulled off.
No, there's a date on Echo.
Is there
What was
now?
it? Yeah, I believe so. Hang
'Cause I
on.
went to the website the other day and it just keeps saying coming soon now.
Well, until the strike's over. I mean,
Well,
Well, there is that,
No, that's
but-
been done. That's been
oh,
done.
is
though.
it? I didn't know that. I didn't
No,
know
the
that.
SAG's still happening.
Well, no. The Echo's been finished.
It's in post production.
It's in post production, so there's
Yeah.
probably ADR, but
Okay,
that's
it's coming
been
out.
done.
Right now, it's scheduled for January.
Okay.
They might be able
Okay.
to pull if it's largely done. They might be able to pull that off.
Because that and Steelheart were already because Steelheart filmed here.
Now, Ironheart, right?
Ironheart. I'm sorry. What do I keep
No,
saying? Steelheart.
No, Steelheart is actually a better name.
Yes,
I
I'm thinking
wish.
Silverhawks. That's what I'm thinking.
I wish it was fucking Steelheart.
Fucking
Honestly,
Silverhawks. Damn it.
Silverhawks and Steel Panther.
Oh, drugs. Okay.
but yeah, let's see.
But Ironheart. Yeah,
So-
Ironheart's done because that finished filming here. So
Okay, wait a minute. So what
'cause
if
that was
season
done before the
2?
strike.
What if season 2 is scheduled for late December? Then Echo in January, and then Agatha in late 2024. and no date on Ironheart or Daredevil, of course. But yeah, those are the dates for the television series, and they still have dates for the films. There's currently 4 scheduled past the Marvels. Although I
That's still kind of fluid though, because
I mean, of course it's fluid. I mean,
well, I mean, Deadpool's not even halfway done. Deadpool's not even halfway done. I don't know where Captain America finished up, but I knew they were filming it here.
Yeah. Well, they say, according to Wikipedia, which is always right, Captain America is in post-production.
Okay. Thunderbolts did not start.
Nope. They were assembling the team here in Atlanta, and then strikes.
Because one of the cast members was in an F1 race and they had dyed their hair. Because they had said they weren't going to be doing the movie for a while, so they could get their hair cut and dye it, and just have it be a weird color for a while, because they weren't going to, because they were on strike, and B, it meant they weren't going into production on the thing she needed to have hair for.
Right.
Interesting. I hope Thunderbolts does not suck.
It's a good cast.
How about that half a strike?
Half a strike.
I mean,
I give them what they want, and
I mean,
they're going to have
So,
to anyway. They did it
remember
with the
that-
writers, like the actors are going to go, "Oh, you did it for them and not for us." Oh, okay.
So, I mean, when we were talking about in the writer's strike that the studios or the people running the studios kind of have different agendas,
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of the situation here, because even with the writer's strike, even if you look at the studios that need to have actors promoting things at this point,
Right.
like Disney would really love to get this over with.
Yep.
To get like the Marvels promoted and like Wish promoted,
well,
and
then maybe they should just A24 it up and fucking.
well, that's
Yep.
yeah, but they're also a member of AMT, and they're just not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But Disney's got a different agenda than, let's say, because Warner's moved everything.
Yep.
So from Warner's standpoint, they can drag this out for another couple of months because they don't have another major film coming out. Amazon and Netflix don't care, because they have a schedule and they have a slate, and it doesn't really matter when their release dates are.
And those are two of the big holdouts in the fact that actors, supposedly one of the big sticking points is actors are asking for an additional 2 points on streaming.
Yeah.
And the streamers are like, no,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
But so basically, you know, some people who are running the studios have different agendas than others. And I mean, Disney's the only one that has things still in the immediate drop zone. Because honestly, if you look at theaters, I mean, they dropped a Taylor Swift film into theaters, and that did well. I mean, we know Beyonce's coming in December. So they figured out they can do these concert events that, you know, theater chains can maybe get by.
Man,
At
the
least-
stories though that are coming out of the Taylor Swift showings, those are crazy. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, like the Taylor stuff, that some of the Taylor showings had merch booths.
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, they should.
They had merch booths, and like even some of the Talking Head screenings
Yeah.
had like merch booths. It's nuts. Not the one I went to, but you know, I know some of the, like the IMAX showings had Talking Heads merch booth.
On the back, instead of having the different concert dates, just put the logo of the theater where you saw it. Fuck yeah.
Or like there was like Amazon has a Talking Heads merch store
Yeah.
that when the movie hit. So some places put up the link to like the places that didn't have the merch tables, like put up a link to like the Amazon store you could go to and buy a Stop Making Sense shirt. But yeah,
If
it's
you guys can hear my cat, I'm sorry. My cat wants food. I should take a moment and feed her.
You have to do that.
your cat wants in on the Taylor Swift conversation.
Yeah, she's a real Swiftie.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I mean,
Actually,
the studios-
she's just a Kelsey fan.
yeah. but the studios have figured out like most of them have moved their stuff off. Like Dune's been moved. God, I don't know when Dune's been moved off to, but Dune's way off now. So Warner's doesn't have anything major, so they don't care. The
Well,
streamers don't care because they have. I mean, the only Netflix really would like to get Stranger Things done before the kids turn 30.
Yep.
You know,
The time
Well-
jump is just getting bigger and
Yes.
bigger and bigger.
I
It's
know.
going
Really-
to the 90s.
they really would like to get Stranger Things in the can before the kids.
well, they're
like, have
they're
to
already going to
retire.
have to do the de-aging or something at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, they've already,
So-
it's going to be, there's going to be a time jump. They just haven't said how much, but yeah, I imagine they want to get started before like,
Yep.
Finn Wolfhard gets his first gray
Like,
hair.
Well, and
like the soundtrack. Do we get to do grunge or do we have to do like rap rock?
yeah.
Is that
Well,
where we're
the-
going with this?
Dune currently has a March release date, and it says it's done. So
Well, no, because it's it should be.
Yeah, but they probably want to wait until they can promote it.
But they
Yeah,
but they
exactly.
need that. That's a film that needs that cast.
Yep.
And again, I mean, like Disney would really like this solved in like the next week and a half. Because
then-
they really can't pull Marvels now.
I really like the idea of the AMPTP splitting up and going their separate ways or forming new organizations.
Well, I mean,
because
that's been the discussion. That's been the
Yep.
that the studios that particularly Disney wants to get this done. And that is the rumor that Disney wants to get this done, and
Yep.
everyone else is basically no hurry. We don't have to hurry. No rush.
As someone who has been a performer my entire life and a very proud union member,
Mm,
fuck them, pay your
Yep.
people.
exactly.
And let's be honest, Disney's not doing this for altruistic reasons. They're doing it because they got shit they can't pull anymore. They've got
Yeah.
to
Right.
come out with it.
Well,
and the basic rule is if you are making people money, they should
Yeah.
give you money.
Well, and the other thing too is that with the other studios, if they can sit and wait, they're just torturing Disney over it. They're like, oh
Yeah.
well, we're fine. What's wrong with you?
I mean, Loki's probably going to sell itself, and it's fine. But they
Yep.
really could do with like the Marvels. The director. Did you see the thing with the director from the Marvels going? I really wish the cast were out here because I really don't want to be doing these interviews.
I saw something like that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not surprised. in the
Yeah,
least.
but they've got a couple of things like Marvels is coming. I mean,
I'm
even on
sure
the
they would have loved to have thrown Rosario Dawson out there for Ahsoka.
for
Yep.
Ahsoka. Yep. They've got some Star Wars shows that I don't even know if they're still dated, but they'd love to have people out promoting those. They'd like to finish Andor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with
Um,
you, JJ. They need to just say fuck it, A24 the thing, and get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I mean, what's stopping them from doing that? Are they bound by the AMPTP to fuck around, or what? How does that work? Tuffley, you know business stuff.
I think because Disney and Warner's are not theoretically charter members, but they're legacy members of that particular group.
So they got in because their older brothers were members.
something like that.
Okay.
But by
I
the
don't
same
know.
token, when you got Disney money, it's amazing how many contracts you can break.
Also true. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, if we're going to be real honest about this, Disney is one of the people funding A24. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Disney and Apple are the ones giving A24 money. So how far are they really going?
that would be hilarious. The Marvels released by A24.
But it's like it's the same thing as like, oh, Miramax is giving the studio. Well, no, actually they're not. Everybody's giving them money, but it's okay.
Yep.
That was like the secret of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the studios were funding Miramax. So at one point or another. But But yeah, A24 gets a lot of their money from like Disney and Apple. So, but yeah, I could see Disney could break rank, but I don't see them doing it because they can. Well, let's put it this way. Let's see how well Marvel's does.
Mm.
If Marvel's bombs, which I don't know if it can,
Well-
considering Quantumania is a thing.
Right now, it's tracking very badly.
Yeah, but I mean, if it tracks, yeah, if it tracks pretty badly and it doesn't do very well, Disney may be more reticent to like ditch their league, so to speak.
Yep.
But you know, I don't know how many bombs it'll take for Disney to, because I think if Marvel's bombs and Wish bombs, and this still isn't settled, then Disney's probably going to break rank. But it's a calculation. If Marvel's and Wish do well or well enough, they may just decide to hold the fort. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they
But honestly, they can't afford, especially on the animation side, they can't afford that many more duds or non-attendance, non-events. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They can't afford that many more because now you have a situation where Universal now has, you know, Illumination, which is, you know, if you can pivot to something like Mario Brothers. If you can pivot to something like a Mario Brothers and have a franchise there and give like Minions and Horrible Me a rest because people are just fucking tired of it.
Right.
And do Nintendo films for like, you know, 4 or 5 years or 4 or 5 iterations of like Mario and Donkey Kong films. And Disney continues to have a problem with both Disney branded films and Pixar branded films can't get arrested. That's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And also you have to remember there's Disney's still having trouble getting a Star Wars film out the door, even anywhere near filming.
Well, and they said that Lando was going to be a movie and not a series now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. The problem with the Star Wars stuff is they keep announcing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They keep announcing stuff and then not making them. So I don't know if that's they can't find the right project or people run out of schedule or I don't know what the problem is there, but they keep announcing films. They keep announcing films and making a big deal out of the announcements of films.
Right.
And then not doing them. So sure, maybe the thing with the Lando film was the Donald Glover's brother.
Yeah.
Is the guy talking about this because he was the guy that co-wrote Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So he's the one that's him and Donald are developing the Lando movie.
Cool.
Supposedly.
I'm up for it.
And so that whole talk he was on, I think it was on Pablo Torre's podcast where he basically said, yeah, I don't know how much I'm supposed to be able to say, but we think that's going to be a movie now. And that's, I think where that got started.
Okay.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Is Disney gonna blink first? That kind of sounds like where this is headed.
Yeah.
And Disney probably should blink first, but again, it's going to depend on, you know, does the Marvels tank? And I don't want it to.
No, of course not.
But again, it's one of those things where if the Marvels tanks, and then I guess, like I said, Wish is their next, is their animated film that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Marvel film tanks and the animated film tanks, maybe that's enough for Disney to blink and go, well, maybe we do need the actors to promote these things.
What a concept.
I know that the when I'm in the comic book shop, and like little kids come in. Little kids are real excited about the Marvels.
Yeah. Like, I want it to be good.
As
Yeah.
do
I want it to be
Absolutely.
good. And I mean, obviously, we know I will probably be there opening weekend anyway because
Yep.
you've met Kim.
Yep.
I will be there the Tuesday after opening because
Yeah.
Tuesdays are my day off, and plus the theater I go to is almost always abandoned on Tuesday matinees.
By Tuesday, we will probably have seen it at least twice.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. The thing that was so obviously Kim, and she hadn't seen it after the weekend, and I was worried. I was like, I think I was pinging you, like, is she okay? Is everything all right?
Yeah.
How has she not seen this 4 times already? Because that's her normal MO. What's happening? So, well, we should probably mosey towards recommendations because
Oh,
it's getting about
yeah.
that time.
It's, yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Go, Duffley.
We've
So-
probably mentioned this quite a few times already, but Stop Making Sense. The restoration, it's really good.
Nice.
Check that out if you get a chance. The remaster is available digitally, and I think it's on CD. Vinyl was a limited edition set, which is already gone, so I'm kind of hoping that makes another reappearance. The Blu-ray, I believe, I have not heard an official release date on this, and I don't see any pre-orders yet, but supposedly it's mid-November. Maybe the talk show appearance will clarify that a bit. Because I don't think they're performing. I don't think so. But if you're watching this live, if you're watching this, later when this posts, sometime in, I guess, Christmas.
What you could do, Tuffley, is you can now say, yeah, I'm sure they're gonna perform, and I can just edit in whichever one's correct. So
Exactly.
you'll be a
Of course.
genius.
Of course, we all knew they were going to perform. Of course, we did.
If
So
there's
yeah,
one thing that Weekend Justice is known for, it's top-notch editing.
exactly. But
You're
yeah,
damn right.
if it's still in theaters near you, go check out Stop Making Sense, the restored version of Stop Making Sense, because it looks great. The other thing I will recommend, speaking of remastered old concert movies, is the 50th anniversary edition of Ziggy Stardust. I bought the CD version because that's the one that actually came with the movie. And it's on Blu-ray, and they did the restored footage in Moon Age Daydream, and it looked really great. Although the Moon Age Daydream, the effects that are in Moon Age Daydream kind of enhance that a bit. But the remaster, the sound quality is a lot better than some of the previous releases of this particular concert film. Because the backstory on this was done on the way cheap, and so the material was not that great to begin with. But they've done a really good job with the sound quality, and the picture's still a bit grainy because it was bad film stock they did it on, but it looks a lot better. So the 50th anniversary of Ziggy Stardust, and I've tried Forza Motorsport a bit, which was the conversation way before everybody jumped on. But I'm early days because it's the motorsport one. So it's the one with rules and track limits and, all of the real racing stuff that's not Horizon, which Horizon is basically getting a very expensive car, and it's Mario Kart with Lamborghinis. That's Horizon, and I love those games. Motorsport is a different sort of fun, sort of. And when I say it's the boring Forza, I just mean it's the one with rules and tracks. But I'm still playing around with that. I don't know how I feel about the progression though, because they want it. This is more where they want you to drive the car and drive one car and get all the upgrades are based on how long you've driven the car. As opposed to if you just have money, you can just upgrade the car whenever. But it's kind of locked behind progression, which I don't know how I feel about that yet, but sure, it's a little more real, but if I wanted reality, I would have been playing Gran Turismo. So,
But it is the kind of video game that feels like a driving game.
the motorsport games typically are.
Then I'm out.
Yeah, the motorsport games typically are. It's more of the more Gran Turismo like of the Forzas. Horizon's like the goofball. I'm just gonna get in a car and see how many cats.
You never crash. You just sort of flip through the air and
Exactly.
land on your.
Like physics. What's that?
I can't, I've never been driving games or something. I mean, I've sucked at driving games since pole position, and I think like anything harder than I think Mario Kart's about as hard as I can handle in driving world.
Although speaking of the last thing I'll recommend, and it's not for graphic superiority or anything, but F-Zero 99. The freebie that just hit the Switch. God damn, that's fun.
Okay.
Haven't won anything, but god damn it, that's fun. So F-Zero 99. Maybe make a real F-Zero game at some point, Nintendo. Maybe do that. But F-Zero 99, I've always been kind of fascinated with the 99 games, and most of them have been super fun. There was a Mario 35. It was the Mario Brothers 35. I don't know if anybody played that, but that was insanely fun. Pac-Man 99 was great. I loved Tetris 99. Sort of the battle royale classic video games have just been really fun. And F-Zero is the F-Zero 99 I've had a really good time with. Haven't gotten anywhere near winning anything with. But it's one of those that even if you suck, you can still have a pretty good time with. So I've enjoyed that. If that's it.
Cool. Thanks, Dudley.
No problem. I'm going to split because I got to go take some meds and not die.
Good. Yes, please don't do that. I mean,
That would
do the
be-
meds, not the dying.
Not the dying. All right.
Yep.
Good night.
All right. All right. All right. JJ, what you got?
Well, the first thing I am going to actually, now that I'm about to say it, I should probably make sure I get the exact name correct. I believe the name of the book is The High Desert. I'm looking it up to make sure I am right because I forgot to do it a second ago. Yeah, okay. So the full name of the book is The High Desert Black Punk Nowhere. It is a graphic novel by James Spooner. James Spooner is the director of the film Afropunk. And he wrote a memoir of what it was like to be a punk kid in California in a very racist town in the 90s. And it to anybody who likes music at all, I cannot recommend this book high enough. It's one of the best comics I've read in years. The comic book shop that I go to here, Books with Pictures, every month they do something called Books with Pals, where they have a book club where you read a comic and then you meet up and you discuss it like a book club. It's kind of fun. And for that one, James Spooner actually found out we were doing it and did a Zoom call for the first half of it. And he is, incredibly accomplished. He set up the Afropunk music festival, and he just published, or is publishing on Halloween. He's publishing a second book that's like half it's stories and comics. I wish I could remember the name of it right now, but again, the book blew me away. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And then I'm going to take a moment and do a little bit of shameless promotion. So what I am recommending here is my own shit. I have recently started podcasting again. So Mars Need Podcast is back.
Hey!
And so anybody who wants to check that out, please do. But the big thing that I'm trying right now is I have an experiment of sorts to see if anybody is interested in it. So far, the resounding answer is no. But we'll see. I've committed to do at least 10 episodes because 10 uploads is how many you can do on Mixcloud for free. And then you have to start paying for it. And if nobody listens to it, I'm not going to pay for it. But if anybody does listen to it, I'll gladly do it. but I'm doing a sort of radio project that I'm calling Jukebox Brain, where the concept is I take songs on a topic that will hopefully be given to me eventually. And if somebody gives me a topic, I feed it through my Jukebox Brain and play the songs that come to mind from that topic. I've done 2 episodes so far. The first episode is kind of a getting to know you episode, where I just play a bunch of songs that I call them unskippable. So they're songs that, like, if they play, I won't skip.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, part of the reason I wanted to do this is because they always say, you know, there are stations out there, they're like, we play everything, but they don't. You know, they have their very, very narrow format. I wanted to see if I could actually do something that had a sort of coherent flow to it, where I could play, you know, Black Sabbath and Hank Williams Sr. and you know, Living Color, and see if I could kind of make it all cohesive. So and there's some like New Orleans jazz in there. There's some Dave Brubeck. I just sort of, you know, they're all songs that I really like. The second episode I did, I called it I called it Beep, or how I learned to stop worrying and love the F-bomb, where
Nice.
it is just a bunch of songs that have really wonderful uses of profanity. And I am going to be recording one tomorrow that will be for Halloween, and that episode I am calling Hail Satan, and it's going to be songs all about you know, all songs that mention Satan, Lucifer, the devil. Maybe there's a Screamin' Jay Hawkins song that I really want to like pigeonhorn in there, but it's a demon song, so we'll see. Maybe I'll stretch it into demons as well. But it's just sort of, again, I'm not someone who necessarily thinks of myself as a I feel like most people, when you put radio shows and stuff out there, you feel like, you know, or not feel like, but you're giving your opinion as almost like a trendsetter or something. I don't feel like I'm that, but what I am is I'm a music lover, and I have a shit ton of songs that are just constantly bouncing around in my brain. Pretty much when someone's talking to me, I might not say it, but everything they say is probably spawning another song in my head, which is sort of like rolling around for a little while, and then they'll say something else, and that'll remind me of a lyric here or there. And so I'm putting it together as a radio project and see if anybody cares. So that is it's the name of the show is Jukebox Brain with JJ Hawkins. It's on Mixcloud. Go to my Instagram, Mars_needs, and the links to that and Mars Needs podcasts are on there. So yeah, just trying to basically get over my sort of self-pity and malaise that I've been in for a couple of years, and trying to do stuff again, have projects and get things done. So you know, if anybody's interested, check it out. I would really appreciate it.
Cool. Well, I just
Very cool. JJ, does the jukebox thing come out in podcast form, or is it?
Because it is music, I don't know how I can podcast it without getting in trouble with fair use stuff. So that's why it's just on Mixcloud right now, because they pay the royalties for the music for you.
Do they have is there a? So I guess there's not a feed from there, is there?
Not
not officially that you could. There are ways to legally acquire.
I got you, Widge.
Google is your friend. But yeah, no official feed.
Yeah,
that's very cool. I just found you on Mixcloud and followed your ass, so I'm going to listen to this stuff.
Thank you.
But
cool.
He's just following your ass, and that's all.
Right. The account on Mixcloud is JJ_Hawkins_ass. So yeah, I didn't find you, but I did find your ass.
Find my ass.
Yep. Okay, very cool. John, what have you got?
I don't have much, to be honest with you. I've spent the last several weeks traveling around North Carolina, looking to see if we enjoy the area. We're thinking of getting the hell out of Florida. Don't know why North Carolina would be the next option, but except it just seems like it's close enough to other things that we would like to do. So anyway, next stop is Colorado to see what they're like. Anyway, so but in the course of doing that, I actually, it's funny. I got this off Amazon a while ago. Well, technically Audible, but Audible is owned by Amazon. Yada yada. But I can't find it on Amazon anymore. But it's an Audible original. It's called Hi Bob Newhart's In Conversation with Famous Friends.
Oh,
And it's sort of a memoir of Bob Newhart, but he does it through, interviewing and talking with several comedian friends, which I'll just list them out for you: Judd Apatow, Will Ferrell, Jimmy Kimmel, Lisa Kudrow, Conan O'Brien, Sarah Silverman, and there's also a forward by Mark Maron. Because why wouldn't there be? But he had a fascinating career, but the way that what attracted me to what attracted me to the book was it was about Bob Newhart, and I had a long and he is. I don't know how he's not always brought up as one of the best living comedians ever. I know he is up there. I know people do say, but it's like he sort of gets sent into the background. But he has had such a interesting and fun career. I guess it was just fascinating. But the way they edited this together, and even I actually kind of wish that they didn't say it at the beginning of the audiobook, but it makes it sound like all these people were at times in the same room and they're all having the same conversation. But they weren't. They never were. He recorded his conversations with each of those individuals separately. But the way that the editor put it together, freaking deserves. What does audiobook editors get?
The Audiobook
Whammies?
Editing Award. I don't know.
Because it's geniusly put together. But anyway, fascinating book. Really, really funny. Lots of funny bits. Probably an over long section on Don Rickles, but when they recorded this, it was in 90 or sorry, not 90. In 2018, 2019 or something like that. Rickles had just died, and Don Rickles had just died, and he and Bob Newhart were really, really close friends, and were always together. So I think that's why it was long. I mean, I like Don Rickles too. Don Rickles is a freaking genius. But I also didn't need to hear it. It seemed a little out of place inside of the Bob Newhart memoir stuff. But anyway, either way, brilliant book. If you can find it somewhere, give it a listen. It's pretty awesome. I did get it at Amazon at some point by using needcoffee.com/Amazon/Hi Bob. That's the end of my joke on that one today.
Well, there you go. All right, thanks, John. I was just looking. Yeah, apparently, you're right. It's just no longer available, and I'm not sure where the hell it is. It was a podcast originally.
Oh, was it? That explains
Yeah,
Mark
it was an Audible exclusive podcast, and they don't have it anymore. So I don't know where the hell it is. But I'm sure it exists. And again, if it's not available readily, then you could probably legally acquire it. But if you can legally acquire it, might as well do so. But John is correct. If you go to needcoffee.com, the categories.
I turned down my mic. She's eating. I don't know why she's yelling. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It's awesome. I'm enjoying the commentary.
The cat is meowing because it can sense that I'm allergic to it, even from across the country, and it really wants to rub all over my face and kill me. That's what cats want. But yes, if you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon, you will wind up on the front page of Amazon, just like you've gone to the front page of Amazon, because it's weird. You have. And anything that you purchase while you're there in that Amazon session, we get kickbacks for, which goes to pay for the server and therapy and stuff like that, bandwidth, all kinds of stuff. So for my,
can we pick and choose what we pay, what that money goes towards? Because I want to keep you out of therapy for my own selfish reasons.
Well, let's see. The 3 cents that would have gone to therapy, I can certainly set aside to something else.
I appreciate that, sir.
You got it. You got it. I'll just go into the spreadsheet and make that change real quick.
Oh, there goes that BetterHelp.com endorsement we were hoping for.
Yeah.
We're the only podcast online that doesn't have their fucking advertisements.
Which is interesting because let's just say I'm very glad I didn't go with them for my therapy because they've had problems. So anyway, for my recommendation, a couple quick things. First, I don't know if I mentioned this before. Upcoming, the Criterion Collection is releasing Freaks on DVD, Blu-ray, and they have, as you would expect Criterion to have, all manner of bonus bits on there. In fact, they're releasing a Todd Browning threefer, which has a film that just isn't in print on home video, at least not in this region. So it's The Mystic, which I'm unfamiliar with, which only makes sense because it's been out of print. But yeah, Lon Chaney and the Unknown and Freaks are the other two on there. And I have not seen The Mystic, but the other two are, of course, classics. The other thing is, which I just recently received, and I'm thrilled to be watching during this month of October, is Criterion recently put out the Arsenic and Old Lace Criterion Collection with a number of bonus bits, including, and I don't have the list up in front of me here, and I've heard it multiple places, so I can't remember if I heard it off of that, but I'm pretty sure I did. The radio version that does have Boris Karloff playing the role that's supposed to look a lot like Boris Karloff, which, you know, I would have loved to have seen when he was on Broadway doing the show, which is why he couldn't do the movies because he was stuck doing it on Broadway. It reminds me of Boris Karloff. That's half of the joke right there. But yeah, here we go. Audio commentary. Yes, it does have the 1952 radio adaptation with Karloff. And it's restored 4K transfer. So, and it's a fantastic movie for Halloween. It's lovely. So yeah, so those, a couple of Criterion Collection releases, and you can find those through going to needcoffee.com. Or, for all I know, if you subscribe to the Criterion channel, which I would and do, they may be playing on there at this point. I haven't gone through everything they have for this month because there's too much stuff on there. But yeah, so that there's only 3 of us left standing at the end of this weird podcast that I was late getting to because my computer's possessed by Satan.
Widge.
What?
This hot off the presses. I literally just got this email.
What?
Earlier today, there was a browser issue that caused some users not to be able to change their camera or mic on StreamYard, and we're reaching out to you because based on our logs, Widge was on the line at that time.
Oh, that's funny because I had to restart my computer because I couldn't change it. It was using my I couldn't change it from my onboard mic, so I restarted everything, and then for some reason it started working. So that's
goddamn sunspots.
Yeah, because wait, I like Fallen Angels.
Wow.
So
Deep
it's
cut.
not you, Widge. It's them
Deep cut. Oh, good. Well, I feel better already.
for once.
Yep. So, as we have reached the
They
end,
of course send it at the end of the
Yes,
at the end
of
of the show.
yeah, that's like the lamest Deus Ex Machina ever. So yeah, so we've reached the end of another episode of Weekend Justice, despite everything trying to stop us, and of course we can't be stopped because we don't have enough sense to stop. But so we're here at the rim of the smoking crater that was the last 3 hours of our lives. And it's only fair at this point that we look at each other across this smoking gap and say something like, Kang.
Wait, did Kang destroy Pittsburgh?
Oh, you know what? Probably in some multiverse version, yes.
Also, kids, if you happen to see a trade of the old Fallen Angels miniseries, you should check it out.
If
pretty
you
good.
happen to see the old train of
It's got Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy when Moon Boy wasn't dead.
Well, if Moon Boy is dead,
the cat agrees.
Yeah, my cat's actually walking around going Kang, Kang,
There
Kang.
you go. Don't worry, if Moon Boy's dead, he won't be for long.
Yeah.
It's Marvel. All right, now we must run away because I need to pee, as always.
Run
It's all the
away.
coffee.
I just found out I'm getting, I guess, roped into doing karaoke, and I didn't know that. I hate karaoke, so I'm off for a fun night. We
Good luck.
pray for me.
I shall.
Bring the cat with you.
There you go.
She'd love that. Take
Yeah,
care, guys.
you
Yeah.
do Islands in the Stream with you and the cat.
Meow, 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 meow.
I'll get
Meow,
somebody.
meow,
to
meow,
make
meow,
us-
meow.
God.
Oh boy. Take
All
care.
right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Good night.